Are we really going to start this stuff? This Giannis stuff? God, I hate this stuff. Hate it edition. Is old T hanging out in Big D with another of his favorite NBA players edition. Why is everyone down on Christian Watson? I understand. He's had a lot of hamstring issues. Let's give him a benefit of the doubt here, huh, people? And does Tausch ever remember teammates bunking in together in the offseason so they could work out together? Another thing that irritates me. Sounds like it's going to be like a Festivus day for me. Edition of Wilde and Tausch. A 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker. Streaming live video, which I'm trying to adjust. Put this shelf too high. On Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And, of course, everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And from, I can only assume, Luka Doncic's house, he is the Packers Hall of Famer. He's Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not at Luka Doncic's house, but I am finishing up, not at Dirk Nowitzki's house. Trying to think of
Jason Kidd? Jason Kidd's the coach, right? Kyrie Irving?
No. Yeah, Kyrie Irving's on the team. Yeah, Jason
Mike McCarthy?
Coach. Yeah, he's not an NBA guy, though. He definitely would not be an NBA guy, I don't think.
I'm loving everything wrong with tonight, Jason.
So I kind of like this. I was going to talk a little bit about this card reading deal, but the fact that you came as hot as you did, I'm going to let you roll today. What? You got Festivus stuff? I want to hear the Christian Watson slander. I want to hear the complaining about you writing an article or a tweet earlier this offseason. Just go ahead, man. I want you to just let it rip.
We could get to all my grievances, but the one that's top of mind for me right now is what you sent us, and I know Jesse's feverishly working on getting the audio, but Jason Williams, Jay Williams, as he's known on, he said this on which program?
Get up.
So, because, I know you're also a big fan of Unsportsmanlike with our friend Evan Cohen, who is scheduled to appear later.
Yeah, it's only on TV. If I'm not out and about it's only on TV till 7:00 though. So
I didn't know that. Even though they're on till much later. Interesting. So you informed us that Jay Williams on Get Up said that Giannis is going to go to the Knicks.
So I don't know I understand that big media and the big markets, everybody wants to push. But the Giannis part of this it's always just annoying to all of us that are Bucks fans or in the state of Wisconsin. They won a championship, have been one of the marquee teams really for the last 5 or 6 years. And the amount of push to get him in particular into a different market, whether he signed an extension or not, and whether he did this, whatever he says, and he has proven over and over his loyalty and where his heart is. And the fact that it doesn't matter, there is 4 good series going on. And today, one of the questions, or what Greeny and Jay Will were talking about, was who does Jalen Brunson need to pair to win a championship in New York? And Jay Will didn't even flinch, said Giannis. And that's not even the part that's the most egregious, because, okay, I understand it. Everybody wants Giannis in a bigger market. They don't want Milwaukee to be good, whatever. I mean, that could be some of our Wisconsin inferiority complex sportsness coming out. But then the other part is they said, well, why now? Giannis, that would be Giannis's team. And they said, no, Giannis would be the secondary piece. This is Jalen Brunson's team. And that's when I enjoy their show. They give a lot of good topic ideas. That's when I thought this is insanity. I mean, that's when you've reached peak lunacy, is when you start getting into not only him just signing a deal, having Dame, all the stuff that we've talked about a bunch, then to say that he'd be the secondary part of the New York piece, then he's never going to New York, at least not in the next couple of years. It makes you wonder what the heck is going on.
So here's why this frustrates me, because because he said that, right? Now that will, on our show, but also many other places across ESPN, that will be a talking point, right? It'll be discussed. And here, two things I don't understand, because I saw this earlier in the week about Anthony Edwards, that there are already those in the national media working to get him out of Minnesota, or at least talking about how he needs to get out of Minnesota. Like, he can't just be a star in Minnesota. Got to get him out of there. Got to get him to a big market. And we saw this with Giannis. The playoffs are going on, to your point. 4 great series. Well, I mean, I don't know. The Indiana Pacers are busy complaining about officiating, so I don't know how great that series is. But and I don't understand, is there any other sport where the focus is less on the on-field, on-court product and more on the player movement than the NBA? Like, we're in the playoffs, and there's people talking about Anthony Edwards needs to get out of Minnesota, and now this thing with Giannis. I just don't get, like, this doesn't happen in the NFL. This doesn't happen in Major League Baseball. Why is it we're always talking about who could be where when? Why is that? I hate that. It annoys me, and I don't think I'm the only one.
Okay, well, what else annoys you? Tell me more.
Okay. Well, that annoys me. We can talk more about that with Evan Cohen when he gets here at 9:30. Also annoying to me. So remember in February, I don't know if we ever got to it because I was pretty ticked off that day, but someone on social media had come across, I don't know where Jaden Reed or Dontavion Wicks had posted it, but someone had come across it and screen capped it and shared it, of the two of them in like February, like mid to early February, working out in Florida together. And I thought, hey, this is interesting, right? Like, I know you guys as an offensive line, you guys go on a trip and all the other stuff, but I don't know, were you traveling down to the Florida Panhandle to go work out with City in the offseason? No. Right? I thought it was interesting. And I got all this pushback. Oh, gee, football players working out in the offseason. Oh, big story, Wilde. Well, it turns out that Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks, we learned yesterday from our interaction with Jason Vrabel, the offensive passing game coordinator, rented a Verbo together, lived together in Florida so they could work out together with some other NFL
When did it
receivers.
change from Verbo to VRBO? Or when did that change happen?
I feel like it's always been
No,
Verbo.
it was always VRBO. It's that
was for you. It was.
No, not for
They
for
do
me,
their
but
we had this
continue.
argument. I know I'm in a mood today. I know. But we had this debate once upon a time on this very program where you kept calling it VRBO, and I said no, they even say Verbo in their commercials. Verbo.
Yeah, but I think they changed it. But that's neither here nor there.
That one in St. Louis, I don't care what it was called.
VRB don't, am I right?
Not bad. Jesse made a new friend, though, and he got to hang out at a gay bar, which he was very excited about. All right, so when you look at these two guys now who are competing for targets, competing for snaps, competing for money, but are tight enough that they would do this together, I think that's fascinating. And the fact that they went to this extreme of, I mean, Chewy wasn't getting together with Keith Jackson in the offseason and say, hey, let's get a place out in Scottsdale and we'll work out together out in the desert, right? Like, this is not typical, correct? Former NFL player Mark Tauscher?
I don't think it's definitely not like typical, but the idea that it's crazy is crazy to me.
It's not
because
crazy. It's cool.
You have single guys that are probably trying to get good workouts in and have some fun. And the thing you find out, especially when you're in your mid-20s, most of your buddies are like trying to find work, and they're not just free to go do a bunch of fun stuff in the middle of weeks in March and in February. So it's like, hey man, what do you got going on? Oh, you know what? I'm just trying to kind of figure things out. Let's head to a real fun area, Scottsdale or whatever. Let's rent a house. We'll get our workouts in. We'll golf, and then we'll go and have ourselves a time.
So wait, did you do this at some point?
I think it sounds awesome. Like, I think that's most young kids' dreams, is to be able to, all right, I work 6 to 8 months a year. Then I get to do where I can live wherever I want. I can go with whomever I want. Let's find some like-minded cats that are going to be working hard, that want to get better, that also want to have a ton of fun. And by the way, we can also build a relationship that will help our team. I would think this should be much more normal than what you're acting like it. Not that you, but people are acting like this is some crazy thing. This is, like, to me, if you're a college athlete going into the NFL, you get done and your season ends in January. I think it'd be like, give yourself a couple weeks, hang out, and then say, let's get to work. Let's find an awesome spot. Let's go to South Beach. Let's get a little place. We'll find a spot that's got a great workout. We can go do beach training, all this other stuff. Then we can go out, hang out at the club. We can go, do whatever else you are interested in. This is going to be more mainstream than I think you think, if it's not already.
All right. So now you're siding with the people that think this is not a big deal, that this is not cool. That
No. I understand why you were intrigued by it. But if you just look at this rationally, it's how everyone that's not married, that isn't like locked into, they bought a house or whatever it is. This should be what every young player in the NFL should be doing. And I think a lot of guys do. Remember Rodgers and Clay? It's not like they lived in the same house together, but they all went out to California and trained.
They all lived in the same place, and they went to the same facility. Like, that was their off-season home already.
But
one guy's from Chicago, one guy's from Louisiana, and they went to Florida.
You don't think D-Bach didn't he go to Colorado? Didn't you think D-Bach was like, oh, this would be cool? Yeah, I'm going to come out, I'll work out, and I'm going to be able to.
He's from California. D-Bach's from California. Clay Matthews is from California. Rodgers, they all worked out. Kenny Clark is from the L.A. area. Like, all those guys lived in L.A. or the surrounding suburbs, and they worked out at a facility together. They did not have one guy who played at Virginia who grew up in Louisiana, and another guy who grew up in Chicago and played at Michigan State go to Florida to go work out together and rent a house together. I'm sorry.
I agree. It is a cool, and I think it's a cool story. And all I'm saying is, I think this probably happens more than you think, and I think it should happen more than you think, because it makes a ton of sense. Continue.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think it happens very frequently. Tell me how many times. Like, I remember there was a big story, or at least for us it was, when all the wide receivers went down to Kansas and spent a couple days hanging out with Jordy Nelson and his family.
What
making
is
pies.
That? Is that supposed to be a Kansas accent?
I don't know. I started down that
darn
road.
tootin'.
As you noticed,
Yellow brick road. I'll get the yellow brick road down there to catch some passes there.
As you noticed, I aborted that about 6 words in.
You tried to trail it off, and
I definitely tried to get out of it. It was a mistake.
You tried to trail, yeah.
Point being, they all went and hung out on the farm and baked pies and did some farm work.
They baked pies.
Jordy's family was known for their pies. You talk about pie country. Jordy's family, that was in pie country. But my point is that they did not go to work out together and hang out for a week. It is not common. You tell me how many times you went to Tennessee to go work out with Cliffy.
So what we would do is if there was a bachelor party or something else, we would try and go maybe a day early.
Yeah, different thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying you go and move in, but what I am saying is, if you're a first or second year player in the league, let's say you don't have a significant other, let's say you're up for going out and really getting at it, this makes a ton of sense. If you're looking just to go and spend time and do some things that are meaningful, and you can have a bond, I was thinking when you put that tweet out, and it irritated you back then, and I'm sure it's because one person probably tweeted something at
No,
you.
there were probably a dozen people who are like,
Okay.
oh, yeah, big news. Big news. 2 guys are working out together in the offseason.
I love this, Wilde. I want you to continue.
I hate this, Wilde.
No,
I don't.
But this whole part of it, I think, is from a Packer fan standpoint awesome because you're getting team chemistry. And just like when Jordan Love was throwing balls with Aaron Jones and all the other stuff, is it some monster thing? No. But it is these little things that you keep building that I think are really important when it becomes, times get a little bit tough. You know these people now that much better, and you know how their buttons work. You know what to push. You know what to not do. And I think from a leadership standpoint, it's really important. And that's what I think is exciting. If you're Jaden Reed is going to be a leader on this football team if he's not already, because he put up the stats. But just, by all accounts, that's kind of how he operates. And he's taken that on. And I think Packer fans should be excited that this is the case. And by the way, again, I would think if you're 22, you went to a school, it's in the middle, it's Liberty or it's, Bradley or whatever it is.
It's Liberty.
And it's not hot and it's a little chilly. And just say, hey, let's do 1 month with 2 other dudes that are doing the same thing you're doing, bowling, outdoor bowling.
Oh my God.
You would say, wouldn't this be an ideal scenario for you to go just for a month and enjoy yourself? Wouldn't you want that?
Yeah, right after high school when we were in college, my friend Danny from the bowling team said, hey, why don't you come down and visit Florida? Let's go lawn bowling. No.
What's your
good story?
Growing up,
did you just make that up?
Yes. Growing up tier 1, we've lost touch since. Yeah, like you're right. Like I have a friend now who's in his 30s who he can work remotely, and his brother lives in North Carolina, and it's like, well, I'm just gonna go to North Carolina for a few weeks during the winter and hang out there and bring the dog and like just do our thing. Like it's good bonding, and it's a time to reconnect with people that you would like to see more often. Like I don't know. I think that's the closest comp I can come up with.
Right, but all right, I want to get to Evan somewhat on time. I agree. Tausch, the point you're making is great, but it's also, in my opinion, underscoring the fact that this is not as frequent as it should be. Like, this is different because you don't hear this very often. Like, Tight End University is I think they're going into like their 4th year of doing that, right? With Greg Olson and all these tight ends that would get together. Greg Olson, I think, was one of the founders of it, along with Kittle and a few others. But like, what a cool idea, right? That got a lot of attention because it was something different. They don't have a bunch of defensive ends who all find a place in America to go work out together, right? And so I don't think there's a lot of instances of teammates doing this, going to these lengths of getting a verbo, and spending that time together. I love that they're doing it. I think it's a really cool story. I look forward to when we actually get access to these guys during OTAs, and I get to talk to Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks about it. You're right. It should happen more because it's great for team chemistry. It's great for building the relationship. It's great to push each other. This should be something that goes on, especially with the NFL trending toward less and less off-season program where you are, air quotes, voluntarily coming to it. This is great. They should do more of it, and I think these 2 guys should be commended for doing something that not enough players do. You should be commended for what a great job you do with your Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Reeds.
Oh, thank you. You can turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella Windows and Doors. Luxurious look, sleek design, and custom colors available are guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain and to keep you comfortable. It is the best of both worlds. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home, it's never been easier. Right now, 0% interest for up to 60 months. Yes, that is 0% interest for up to 60 months if you book by May 10th. Take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
I'll continue airing my grievances next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Make the most out of your summer at Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Madison in Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road course, camp on site all weekend, and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Make sure you get tickets for the NTT IndyCar Series race at Road America June 6th through the 9th. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
What do you get when you combine grilled-to-order deliciousness with only the finest Wisconsin cheeses? Cousin Sub's new Wisconsin cheesesteaks, featuring either steak or chicken, bacon, cheddar cheese, sautéed onions, and their new Cheddar Supreme cheese sauce. It's a match made in dairy heaven. And the decadence doesn't stop there. Pair your Wisconsin cheesesteak with their new Orange Dream Shake. All are available for a limited time only. Order in store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Did you know that the phrase, "when is Mother's Day," is the most searched when phrase in the world? So just to be safe, let me remind you that Mother's Day is this Sunday. Yes, this Sunday. Need a bottle of wine or champagne for brunch? Or maybe a great gift idea? Remember, moms sacrificed so much for us, and it starts by going 9 months without alcohol. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960, we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for a great Mother's Day gift. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Happy Mother's Day.
Change the way you do business and take more control of the payment process with Fifth Third Bank's Treasury Management Solutions. Their market expertise and managed services streamline the entire payment process and integrate with your existing systems, giving you more control than ever. With their suite of payment solutions, you will soon recognize new revenue sources that can save time, offset operating costs, and improve the bottom line, all customized for your business. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Lower prices. Those aren't words you hear too often these days. But at your local Milwaukee and Chicago area IKEA stores, they've rolled out new lower prices on hundreds of your favorite furniture and home furnishing options throughout the store, making it more affordable to give any room in your home a stylish makeover. Utilizing innovations in design, production, and packaging, we strive to cut costs and lower prices without compromising quality, passing those savings on to you. Visit your local IKEA stores to see what savings are coming next.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Let's hear this Jay Williams clip, because maybe I'm overreacting. I see it anytime that I'm this way, and then Tausch tweets about it. It lets me know that I might be unusual for what you may come to expect on this program. Let's hear what Jay Williams had to say this morning on Get Up about the possibility of Giannis being a Knick.
And I do feel they are one piece away from getting to a world championship. Like, we could talk about who that piece is. Please do. Because Wendy and I were talking about it. Like, Giannis would be an interesting play in New York City.
Giannis who signed a contract extension in Milwaukee last year. We're putting him in New York now.
We got to stop thinking about people signing contracts. People can get out of contracts and forced to where they want to go. Okay, I mean, especially if they're cap restricted. There's a lot of names you can throw out there. I'm talking about a guy. It doesn't matter who you bring on his team. This is Jalen Brunson's team. But if you surround him with one more piece along with these other pieces,
it's not his team. If you get Giannis, that's
yes,
my
it
point.
is.
Giannis is like the biggest star in the whole league.
It still will be Jalen Brunson's team. His DNA is all over this team.
Well, I mean,
he'll still be the bona fide leader of the team. What does Giannis say about Dame when Dame hits clutch shots? Like, we got a guy who closes. You're telling me Jalen Brunson wouldn't be one of the best closers in the league? You're still going to look at him because he's your PG. He has the position of the leader. And by the way, he doesn't care if you're more talented than him. He leads in other aspects of the game because he thinks the game all the time.
All right, maybe that's just Jay Williams being
provocative.
I don't want to. Thank you. That's exactly the word I'm looking for. Right? Like, what are we doing? Right? Maybe I'm over it. Am I overreacting to that? Because it sure sounds like he's starting the conversation, and then that's how that snowball starts to roll downhill.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly just disrespectful, I think, to all of Milwaukeeans and things like that. That's what I think, from a frustration standpoint, the narrative, not that what Jay Wills says is going to end up happening, but to have to constantly fight the narrative. And as I was telling you last week, this whole, if you don't, that perception becomes reality. And it's, even though Giannis has signed 2 extensions, maxes, and he has always been a loyal Milwaukee Buck, the narrative has always been that he's looking for something else. He needs to be somewhere else, even though he nor his team has ever felt that way, or at least acted on that. So I think we all are sick and tired of it. And Wendy, who I like Wendy, he has been pushing this narrative for 3 to 4 years. I think the same thing with Jay Will. And I think it's because it suits them. It suits big media to have big stars in the biggest media places, because that will drive. And I don't necessarily know if that even is true, but that's the view, and that's what they think. And when you constantly, how many times do we hear him? He's going out to Golden State to play with Steph. He's going to LA to do this. And it's never anything else. And I think we're all just sick and tired of it. And the fact that we heard him after the season, another disappointing postseason, he's been injured, and we hear it, and it still becomes, well, he should go to New York, and then he could be second fiddle. Like, that's absurd. But it's out there, and these are big voices that are on big platforms that can be bigly wrong, and it just really gets under a lot of our skins here in the state of Wisconsin.
Can I just say something for why I think there might be a little something to this?
Yeah. You think there's truth in it?
Giannis and Jay Williams are like business partners.
Oh, boy.
And so I don't think Jay Will is just recklessly speculating. I think there might be he's got to know a little bit of something to float.
Oh, boy.
If you're tight with
that's
somebody.
The part, Jesse, that's the part that I think is really frustrating, because now you throw these little breadcrumbs. But you've heard this before, too. We've heard this a ton of times. And Giannis has had, and he's right.
The Knicks have never been good before, though.
Giannis could easily go to the Milwaukee Bucks and say, I don't want to be here anymore. And
the contract doesn't matter. Yep.
That part, what Jay Will said, is completely accurate. No argument there.
We need to get to Evan Cohen, but you need to tell us about Prize Picks. Did you dabble last night, or were you too busy traveling to be dabbling?
Too much travel. I will dabble when I get back to the great state. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. Over 3 million active members, and the easiest. It's so easy. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. The 3-time MVP has been good to old Joker. I'm going to probably dabble with that on Friday. I think they play. That's where I'm going to be looking. Prize Picks is people to play, 60 seconds or less to get your entry in, and they offer weekly promotions and great offers to help you. I just saw Caitlin Clark. I think they start next week. 1 point. Feel pretty good about that for Caitlin Clark. Download the app today. Use the code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code WI on Prize Picks for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my favorite go-to drink. That's Carbless. Carbless is a ready-to-drink, handcrafted vodka and tequila cocktail. Even better, it's 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. And listen to this, less carbonation. This leads to less bloat. I can indulge in something delicious without having that health guilt. Carbless is crafted right here in Wisconsin. It has a flavor for everyone, from black raspberry to cranberry, pineapple and lemon, and my favorite, margarita. Find Carbless online and at a retailer near you. Less is more.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright, it's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside and no drafts, it's a game changer.
Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. That's 5/31/2024.
It took me a while to figure out my mom is more than the mom stuff she did for me. More than the laundry, cooking, and driving. She's got a whole life outside of motherhood, whether it was helping my dad start a small business, volunteering. My mom's job was a pastor, so while I'm playing games, she quite literally was saving lives. She's a superhero, not just to me, but to so many others. And so that's why this Mother's Day, I want to give Mom her flowers. She deserves the best. That's why I'm sending her farm fresh flowers from Books. That's short for bouquets. And I got you with 25% off your entire Books purchase so you can send some too. Here's why I like the Books company. Books is different. Their flowers are cut fresh and sourced directly from the best flower farms, so they last way longer. They even have flowers growing on the side of a volcano. Mother's Day is May 12th, so don't miss your chance to thank your mom. Order your Books now. And with 25% off, you can send some to mom, the wife, auntie, and even grandma. Go to Books.com and use promo code Canty for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code Canty. Books, promo code Canty.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned business for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off and 0% interest for 12 months on your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
A season of award-winning golf at Sweetgrass and Sage Run is on the horizon. The Island Resort and Casino stay-and-play golf packages are booking fast, with choice dates available early in the week. After your rounds, visit the Drift Spa for a relaxing or targeted massage session. And enjoy dinner at Horizon's scenic top-floor steakhouse. So many reasons to take a drive. Book your stay-and-play golf package today. Visit islandresortgolf.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
All right, I want Evan to help Jesse work through his feelings about the Tom Brady roasts. I want to get his insights on the Knicks, and I saw a little bit of the discussion about the whining about the officiating by the Pacers. But first, I want to get to this. I just don't understand why this is all we do in the NBA is talk about where some guy who plays for one team is going to be playing next. You see him and hear him every day on unsportsmanlike. It is Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Good, Jason. How are you guys?
I'm irritated. I admit I'm irritated. I'm in a mood, which doesn't happen very often. Tausch enjoys it. Tausch loves it when this happens.
I do.
Yeah. So let me just start here with you. So as you know, I have said many, many, many times, you are brilliant on air, a genius on air.
Yeah. Let's see. This setup's going places. Go ahead.
I was going to say,
no.
The hammer's coming here.
It's not. No, it's not at all. That's our little inside joke. But help me understand as an NBA guy why the favorite pastime of the NBA media writ large. Why this is such a Why is it that the NBA more than any other league? The conversation is always about this star and where he might play next, right? Like they're doing it. I've seen it with Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. And now Tausch brought up this morning how Jay Williams on Get Up was talking about Giannis and how he should be Jalen Brunson's sidekick with the Knicks moving forward. Like, why is that such a popular parlor game?
Okay, so it's a good question. So let's just actually do it as a relation to the sport that you two focus on so much based on past experience, right? So of an NFL roster, how many players would you say of the 53 do we care about their destination the next year, roughly?
Three.
So, okay, so 3 of 53. What percentage would you say that is?
We're not doing math this morning. What is the percentage?
I don't know. I'm asking a question.
It's about 6%.
5 or 6%.
Okay. So now, of NBA teams, how many players on each team would you say we care about their next destination?
Maybe one.
Okay, so that's 1 of 18. What's the percentage?
Oh, jeez. 6%? I don't know. What?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
5%. That's 5 or 6%.
So it's actually the same exact thing is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
I did not know the math prior to that exercise, but that is remarkable.
But Evan, that's not a fair. I mean, we don't
really
sit here
do we
and
care
talk
about what? Wait, yes, we do. What team is Dak Prescott going to be on? What team is Aaron Rodgers going to be on?
That was one. Okay, hey Evan, that was one time in probably 18 years. That was one time, and I'm not sitting here this year saying where's Patrick Mahomes going to play. Patrick Mahomes is in a small market. He needs to get to a bigger market. I'm not saying Joe Burrow. He's in a small market. He needs to get to a bigger market. Jordan Love. He's in a small market. We don't do that. We don't.
Right.
So why do they do it?
Yeah, I think the other part of it is in the NBA. I'm just going to give in facts right now, and then I'll give the theory. In facts, when you trade players in the NBA, you have to match salaries up to 85% of the salary as long as you don't have salary cap room. Why is that important? Well, the reason we don't talk about player movement as much in the NFL is because even if you want to move, let's just say for argument's sake, the Packers signed Jordan Love to a long-term deal and you wanted to move him. The moment you move him, he's gone. There's no part of him that's still there. Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. The Packers probably still have dead cap hits for Aaron Rodgers. Is that true?
No, they were very excited to put it all in 1 year last year, but he wasn't on the team
last year. Okay, so last year they did. Right, so last year they did, right? So if you look at the same thing, let's just say Giannis, just for argument's sake. So if Giannis, the Knicks trade hypothetically was going to happen, and let's just put Giannis at $50 million, 50 a year, then they would have to get back somewhere, let's call it 45 to $50 million in return, and thus there's impetus to potentially make that move because you're actually going to get value in return versus just have to deal with the fact, hey, it didn't work out here. long term. That's like the math on it. That's like the practical part of it. The other part is what's before gambling was legalized, what was the number one thing that sports fans would do? They play fantasy sports. And the NBA allows you to deal in fantasy numbers with real-life contracts because there's no dead cap hits, and we understand it easier in a way that resembles fantasy sports. Because if you're going to sit there and say, okay, I want to trade Giannis, well, can I get back Josh Hart? Can I get back DiVincenzo? How many draft picks? And that we do it in a way that it's actually easier for us to consume, and players ask out. They don't do that as much in the NFL.
That part is definitely true. But Evan, my issue is that the Knicks just went up 2-0 in their series, right? Like I'm fascinated that a conversation when the Knicks are having success, which, as you well know, has not always been the case for the New York Knickerbockers.
Oh no, that's the funniest part, Jason, about Rick Carlisle, coach of the Pacers last night, complaining that big markets get favored over small markets in the NBA. It actually illuminates the point of how bad the big markets have been in the NBA. The Knicks stink for 20, 30 years. The Nets stink. The Chicago Bulls, on the first night of the season, had a players-only meeting. That's not a joke. Think about that for a second. On the very first night of the season, thought, this is so bad, we need to meet with us. The Clippers have never been to the finals. The Lakers' last title was in a bubble and not in front of fans. So if you actually look at it, the big market teams have been awful in the NBA recently. So Carlisle is so out of line with that. But you say, well, the Knicks won last night. Why are we talking about Giannis and the Knicks? I actually think the reason is because I think everybody knows it's over for the Knicks. Even though they won, it was such a disaster injury-wise, and they don't have players left, that even if they beat the Pacers, there's just no way they're going to beat the Celtics. So, off-season actually started for the Knicks last night, as ridiculous as that may sound.
Okay.
I also think it's a compliment to Giannis, because I think there are very few players that you could look at and say that could handle the amount of wear and tear on a body that Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the Knicks, actually puts them through. And Giannis, I know he was just injured, but in general, Giannis is such a tough player that I think it's a compliment that he could fit with that kind of scheme. Why Giannis would want to go there versus staying in Milwaukee is beyond me, but I think it is a compliment to him.
Well, all right. I think the part that's just so frustrating for for small market and for especially the Bucks.
What's with the throat clearing? I mean, what's happening with you today?
What do you mean?
Well, do you not have water or any kind of drink with you on the show?
I don't. No, I don't have any water.
Why not? Who does the show without any kind of liquid?
Do you have liquid with you constantly?
At all times. You could see it on TV. You could see the coffee cup on.
Sorry, TV star.
Yeah, well,
cup of creamer.
Yeah, exactly. Some of us get to wear makeup every day. Just saying. Of course. Hair. Yeah, I don't understand Tausch's. I don't understand Tausch's game plan here. It doesn't make sense. Who that works in a speaking business doesn't have water with them at all times? Doesn't make sense.
Okay, I'll take that under advisement. I'll put that on my checklist.
Yeah, get better in all three phases.
Okay, Evan. So I just saw your tweet. An active head coach in sports that is considered good, but will never win a title is. What was the impetus for this?
Tom Thibodeau. Okay. Like that guy. So his style gets you here, but won't get you there, right? I don't think the New York Knicks, not to get too specific with them, ever get to the second round of the playoffs playing any other way but the way that they're playing. But because the way that they're playing, I don't buy that they are going to get to that next place, right? I don't believe they're going to win a championship under him. Canty brought up a couple of, he brought up Dan Reeves back in the day. He brought up Marty Schottenheimer back in the day, obviously, as coaches that were so good but never actually won. I hate to do this, but as I'm on the phone with you guys, I mean, is Matt LaFleur one of those guys? I think he has a shot at winning a title, but certainly didn't get over the hump with Rodgers. I think he's going to be great with Jordan Love, and I think they're going to have a great season. But Matt LaFleur is considered really good. We're probably, 2 years away from pressuring him to get to a Super Bowl? Right? Where, it's like, hey, what's up with LaFleur? I can't believe I'm saying that because it feels like he just started. But they need to be competitive in the postseason again this year and maybe get to a conference championship. And then next year, if they don't get to at least a conference championship, he becomes one of these guys, does he not?
Well, I think if Rodgers had stayed another year and they didn't win it, then I think the stove would have gotten very hot. But now he's got, I would say 2 years at least before there's going to be any. Although, Jason, if this season goes south and they don't make the playoffs, I think he would be on the hot seat.
Good one.
I think the seat would be warm. I definitely think the expectations, look, we had questions about whether or not the seat was warm last year when they were 2-5, and he had all these young guys playing in the NFL for the first time and a first-time starter at quarterback. I think he's got enough that it wouldn't be piping hot. But yeah, if they go 7-10 or 8-9 and they miss the playoffs, people are going to be ticked and they're going to want to know what happened, and they're going to more likely blame him because everyone thinks Goody's pushed all the right buttons. And so, yes, I do think this is
I agree. And I agree with that one. I mean, when you guys are bringing up the hot seat here, I just want to point out off of this, I've always been okay with the idea of the seat warmer in the car, but have you noticed that they have the wheel heater now? I don't like that. I don't like when the wheel is hot. The seat being hot, I'm fine with in a car. But do you like when your hands on the steering wheel? My car doesn't have it because it's too old, but my wife's car has the wheel heater. I hate that.
If it's freezing outside, it's a nice thing, and then you can turn it off. It doesn't have to stay on. You're a
steering wheel heater guy, Tausch? I thought you were tougher than that.
I am, but if it's freezing, it's 13 below out, you get in your car, and it's nice and toasty on your hands. I don't think anybody's going to be mad at that. I mean, you wear gloves.
Not when I drive, I don't.
You don't wear gloves when you drive. That's actually surprising. Well, you have a driver, probably, so you probably don't have to wear.
Yeah, I have a driver. Yeah,
being pulled over at the moment.
Yeah.
Actually,
sounds like
ambulance by the seaport here.
All right, so Evco, you obviously watched. I'm not even going to ask if you've watched the roast. I'm sure you have. Jesse thinks roasts are stupid. I thought what happened, I think it was Sunday night, was awesome with Tom Brady. I hope more athletes do it. I want Tiger Woods next. He should do it. I think he will do it. What did you make of the whole Patriots dynasty being up there on roast?
Yeah, I think there's a psychological part of this I'd like to analyze with one Mark Tauscher, and I mean this complimentary. Mark Tauscher is somebody, for those who are not aware, and I have been fortunate enough to know Tausch very well off the air. Tausch is someone that off the air is not politically incorrect by any stretch of the imagination, is not hateful towards anyone, and literally could care less whatever someone else is doing in their life, regardless of what it is. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, Tausch, wants to live in a world where if we have a night like that, where multiple people are equally offended across the board as a joke, that we could all be civil afterwards. Is that a fair assessment of who you are?
I think that's a pretty fair assessment, yes.
And I think that's what we saw the other night. It's like, hey, like some of these jokes make you cringe, but they're jokes. They're not harmful. They're not hurtful. Roasts are funny, and they're a real test in many ways. Like, I think Brady did that, not even because of the money or the fun. I think he did that because he wanted to compete. I swear to you. I think he wanted to compete with himself, be a man in the arena, right? That kind of thing with his documentary on ESPN Plus, where he wanted to see if he could handle it. I think that's crazy. There's no amount of money that you could offer me that I think I could handle it. I would do it for a certain amount of money, but handle it is an amazing thing. We are working on the roast of Jason Wilde. I know that is something that you really would love, Jason.
I could handle that for sure. Yeah, you don't even have to pay me. I'd do that for free, and I would handle it.
Yeah, that's right up your alley, Jason. You love that one. But I admitted on the air, on national radio and TV, I couldn't handle it. In all seriousness, I do believe, Tausch, you are one of very few people I know that could handle it. And handling it would be having enough friends that would want to be a part of it and not harmful towards you, right, that you know it would be a joke, and enough people would be interested in it. I do believe the roast of Mark Tauscher could potentially become a thing if, let's just say, your wife and kids were off limit. Could we roast Tausch?
I think you could. I wouldn't. I'm not interested. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be the center of attention enough to do it. That would be the thing that
I'm sorry. Were you just hacked? You don't want to be the center of attention? Since when?
Well, not in this regard. I don't want to be sitting up on the stage and having Lord knows who's saying what. I mean, I have a general idea of what would be said, but I'm sure there'll be some things that would be stinging. I would much rather be one of the roasters, and then you could throw a pot shot at me. I don't want to be sitting in that crown chair like I think Tom Brady was doing.
I get it. I can't believe he did it. Like, I thought it was very funny. I laughed the entire time. I thought Belichick was amazing. I thought Edelman was hysterical. Nikki Glazer, I thought, was unbelievable. Within the first 2 minutes, when Kevin Hart went to his ex-wife cheating on him with a jiu-jitsu instructor, I had this moment where I'm like, oh, my God, they're really going to do this. This is really going to be a thing. This is not going to be a fluff piece just to get people to watch stuff. I could not believe it. It was real. It was intense. What is the argument against it, Jesse? Why don't you like the concept of the roast in general?
I think it's lowbrow humor. I think it's just like
you do pirate jokes.
Yes, I understand. I understand what I do. I think anytime you go to like the offensive, shock value, vulgar type humor, it's just lowbrow where it's not witty, it's not creative, it's not fun. Like the best stuff from it, like you said, Evan, was Nikki Glazer, and that was like a good joke that was clean it was one of the few we could actually play on the show if we wanted to. Like, there were few jokes that were actually witty and creative and fun, and most of them were just shock value, offensive, vulgar, over the top, like stuff you wouldn't hear anywhere else. And it's just, I compare it to Melissa McCarthy. Melissa McCarthy's funny when she's actually doing like clean humor. When it's the vulgar stuff, it's when it's her worst material.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying it's stuff you can only hear there. It's shock value and it's funny, and that's bad?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask both of you this. What about the concept of in every joke there's a little bit of truth? Because I agree, Evan, to a certain degree, that it's jokes, and then when it's over, and you move on, and you're just doing it in the spirit of a roast. At the same time, I do find myself wondering at times, and like, did Brady get up and tell Jeffrey Ross about the massage joke? Did he do that because that was a shtick, or did he do that because he really was irritated by that joke being made? Because he breaks character because that would be an instance of breaking character within a roast, right? To get up and tell a person that that's out of bounds. Fair?
Yeah, to this moment, I don't know because, Nikki Glazer was on Howard Stern. I listened to the interview, and Howard obviously asked about that. And she said, no, that was not scripted. That was like him doing that. Edelman and Bledsoe on Edelman's podcast said the same thing. But I have a friend that literally has a theory, and it's a good one. He said to me, he's like, here's what I think happened. That Brady and Jeffrey Ross were talking about it, saying, we know we're going to have to go after Kraft if he's sitting there. People are going to want to go after him. How do we go after him and end it simultaneously? All right, do the one joke. I'll come up. I'll shut it down. The moment I do that, nobody else is going to have the cojones to actually do that, which is an interesting theory.
It's a good theory.
It's an interesting one. So I don't know the truth on that one. But if you look at it this way, so Nikki Glazer also said that the kids, his kids, they did not ask for the kids to be off limit. The comedians and the roasters actually decided together, we are not in any way, shape, or form going after the kids. And she said specifically, because they have to go to middle school the next day. That's not fair to them. And I thought when she said that, there was actually care and human interest involved in that. And Jesse, that's where it counters the point that you're making of how vulgar and rude it is. When they're not being told to stay away from his kids and they voluntarily do that, there's some ounce of a heart in there, is there not?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
They're like Brady got up there at the end and made a 9/11 joke. I just can't get over that. I don't look at him either. I don't look at him more likable like everybody else is saying after this thing because of that.
Well, I'm going to go to it. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to move on. I was going to say about another quarterback with 9/11 that is even worse. But anyway,
it is.
So I get Jesse, let me ask you this way. Did you go into that thinking that you would not like it because it could be a lot of sound for you to cut up the next day and that's going to take a lot of time? Or how did you feel about that?
No, I wasn't going to cut the sound to begin with.
Okay. All right. I just didn't know. I didn't know how we were looking at that. Like, oh, God, this is 3 hours of content I didn't plan for. Everybody's buzzing about it. Tausch specifically would be interested in this. I guess I'm going to have to cut it. That could have
Jesse, is that part of it?
No,
I think there is a part of that.
Game plan from the beginning was, we're probably not going to use any of this, so we're fine. And then we heard it, and we're still probably not going to use it because we can't.
Was that?
Too vulgar.
Don't remember
but Jesse, if there was, in all seriousness, if there was a roast of Rodgers or Favre or Giannis or Alvarez or any humongous figure in the state of Wisconsin, you're excited about it, or you're just like, oh, God, this stinks?
You don't want to do it. You don't want
You
it.
can't be a roast guy now. You've come out anti-roast.
I would rather have
you like roasted peanuts?
He likes roasted chicken from Quick
I
Trip.
do like roasted chicken, yeah.
No, you're an anti-roast guy. Tausch said it. You cannot like roasted chicken.
That's true.
I'm not a big fan of pot roast, so I guess in general, no, I'm not a roast guy. Roasted
No, but answer
chicken.
the original question, seriously. So it's a humongous state of Wisconsin sports roast. Everyone's buzzing about it. Let's just say Good Karma Brands, ESPN Wisconsin, is actually the one throwing it. I think you have to voluntarily bow out. You can't even go.
No roast for you.
Rodgers is the only one because
you don't like him.
No, you don't like roasts.
I don't like roasts, and I don't think
So why does the subject matter? Then you should say no.
I would want to see if we wanted to honor Barry Alvarez or Aaron Rodgers someday or whatever it would be, and it's part of it's almost like more of a best man speech where you make fun of it, you poke fun, but it doesn't have to go over the line. Like that's what I would enjoy more than a roast.
So you wanted Sunday night Netflix to have a best man speech brigade.
Yeah, that's what I
that
wanted.
would sell.
Yep.
That sounds really fun.
All right, Evco,
That's the
before
guy
you
want
go,
running your content right there.
Evco, before you go, if you could pick on Unsportsmanlike to roast one athlete, who are you picking?
Yeah, so we did this. We brought in Tiger's name came up, Jeter's name came up.
I'm talking Evan Cohen. Evan Cohen's pick.
Oh, I would be delivering the roast?
You would be the roast master for whatever athlete you want to roast.
That is so hard because, okay, can I just ask a couple of follow-ups? Does it have to?
Sure.
No,
Go ahead.
Tausch, seriously.
Yes,
Does it have to be someone? Does it have to be someone you like?
No.
Jeez.
Because everybody there loves Brady. Like, so my least favorite athlete of all time is Isaiah Thomas, Detroit Pistons Isaiah Thomas. So that would be my answer if it's somebody I don't like. If it's somebody I do like, I'm not kidding because I've already said this to people this week. It would be you. I sat there with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy the other day. Or no, Chewy wasn't there. But Jen and Gabe, and I was like, how fun would it be to roast Tausch and to roast Wilde? And then we moved on from the Wilde part because Jason is like me in that. It would be one joke and I'd leave. And that would be it. Jason, would you and I even get through one singular joke from someone?
Only if it was very tame, like Jesse would like all the jokes to be.
The best man joke. Like
exactly.
That is so bad, Jesse. That's such a bad idea. I want to just point out how bad of an idea it was to actually think that Netflix was going to be the greatest best man roast of all time.
I never said Netflix should do a best man speech of Tom Brady.
You kind of did.
I didn't say that. I'm just not a roast guy.
We've established that. Evan, we got to go. Thanks so much.
See you guys.
That is the great Evan Cohen. You can hear him across ESPN Wisconsin and across ESPN nationally on
Sportsmanlike.
Sportsmanlike. I almost said unscripted there. Unsportsmanlike. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
People across Wisconsin are enjoying the rewards, stability, and flexibility of a career in healthcare. Why not you? Wish Caregiver Careers can get you started as a certified direct care professional. You'll learn the skills you need to make life better for older adults or people with a disability. All training is free and online. Plus, earn $500 in bonuses. Start your new career. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Your bathroom is boring and basic too. It seems like there's nothing you can do. A better bath awaits. You'll feel brand new, relaxing in a world of peace at the Bath Authority.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Right now, get $1,500 off a new shower bath plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions do apply. TheBathAuthority.com.
You're our priority at the Bath Authority.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May, score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries, 5 times the entries on drawing days, and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes? Slugger, only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit paysbig.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture. Hey guys, it's Brad Nortman here to tell you about a great offer at Bank 5-9. I know we're all looking for ways to save our money, and at Bank 5-9, you can earn more by opening a money market account today. With rates as high as 5.3%, you'll earn more while working with a true local community bank. Be sure to check out their great CDs too. Helping you save more of your money is another way Bank 5-9 is making lives better. For details, visit bank59.com/MM specials. Member FDIC.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance. And you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do, do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Thanks to Evan Cohen. Some fun stuff there. I am, Jesse, I want to say this to support you a little bit. I understand your discomfort with the roast concept. I do. I think your argument is flawed in that there's lots of vulgar humor that is extremely popular, right? Like, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. Throughout the years, there have been lots of comics that crossed the line in some people's minds with their style of humor. My thing about the roast is that it's great that we say we're putting it in this box of, okay, during this 3-hour period, everything is fair game. And that they decided, as Evan pointed out, that kids were not, which I'm glad to hear that. They were not fair game. We're not going to make jokes. But I also live in a world where I am realistic enough to know that people are complicated human beings, and that when you make a joke, there is probably some truth to it. That's why you choose to make that joke. And so while I am sensitive, and Evan is 1,000% right, I would not handle a roast of me very well at all. There are probably lines that we want to say, there's no such thing as crossing the line, that there are probably lines that feel like they are crossed. And you could say that you're doing this and everything is on the table and nothing is out of bounds, but I am sure that there are some jokes that are not necessarily all in good fun. Like, I thought Belichick's joke about how this is the roast of Tom Brady, not to be confused with the roast of Bill Belichick, which is on Apple Plus, with how much shrapnel he took. I thought it was a really good joke. I thought it was a self-effacing good joke. At the same time, do you really think that when he watches that, there's not part of him that's like, this is crap, man. Like, I got these guys 6 Super Bowl titles, and I'm just getting trashed on this thing left and right? Like, I don't know. I haven't watched it.
But again, that was a clean joke. That was funny. Like, that was creative and witty. That was good. That was funny.
Your issue is with, like, the
So you don't like Dave
sexual
Chappelle.
jokes.
You don't like any comics that use vulgar language.
I don't think... It's not that I don't like comics that you do. Like, Richard Pryor was hilarious. I've seen the stuff that he's done. If you can't be funny without swearing, then you're not funny. Wow. I'll go with that.
I can't believe. All right. We got to move on, because I can't. If that's your issue with the roast, I'm confused, because to me,
it's
the issue
one
is
component. It was
too close to home.
Yeah, I mean, it was offensive. People say this like I don't get roasted on the text line every day of this show, or the private text line, or when we're talking to each other during commercial break, or on the show. Like, it happens all the time. I'm not saying don't make fun of each other. Like, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there are lines that feel like it's
just don't swear.
Like,
don't swear.
Blankety blank. Go blank yourself. All right. We'll have to leave it there. We need to get to the 10 o'clock hour, and you need to make sure you take advantage of the Steinhafels Memorial Day mattress sale, which is happening right now. Get the new Tempur-Pedic Adapt. It is in stock and ready to get you your best night's sleep ever. You can upgrade your sleep and save an extra $500 on adjustable base sets to go with it. The Tempur-Pedic Queen mattresses start at just $48 a month when you use your Steinhafels 60-month financing. Plus, you'll get $300 in Steinhafels cash. Nothing beats a great night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic from Steinhafels. So shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com. The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright, it's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside and no drafts, it's a game changer.
Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. That's 5/31/2024.
An unsuspecting driver at a gas station in Wisconsin.
Welcome, Pump 15. How you doing?
Great.
Were you wearing your seatbelt today?
I never wear my seatbelt.
We're going to get him. We're going to get him real good.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, sir. How you doing? Donald driver. It takes 1 second to strap a seatbelt on. Well, let's do this. Let's do it together. Now, don't that feel better?
Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways.
And I should have recognized your voice when you're harassing.
I'm watching you.
Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Make the most out of your summer at Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Madison in Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road course, camp on site all weekend, and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Make sure you get tickets for the NTT IndyCar Series race at Road America June 6th through the 9th. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. The hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site galleries, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Book special hotel packages with room rates starting as low as $129 a night. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour. Tausch begins now. Tausch, do you feel like we've solved the Jesse Nelson riddle of roasts, or should we just give up on it entirely?
Yeah, no, I think what happened, Jesse is so sensitive to swearing because of what Greg Gard said on air, and he doesn't want to get in trouble. That has now, as being a producer of our show for 6 or 7 years and for other shows for even longer, he is now so sensitive to that has skewed his comedic mindset, and I get it. So I don't have any problem. That's why I make sure I don't swear. I blank things when we're doing that. And I think going back, if they can just insert blanks where there was cuss words at the Tom Brady roast, I think Jesse would love it. So yeah, that's what I've learned.
Jesse, would you say that's an accurate depiction of your position?
No.
I didn't think so. It's more than just the swearing for you.
Yes, that's one component of it. But look, it's been 4 days now. I think we realize I'm just not a roast guy.
Yeah, you're anti-roast. And you know what? You have every right to not worry about roast. We're good. I don't think there's going to be another roast for a while. So I think we're good. So, Jason, you came in hot.
Yeah, so I was actually using this as a transition because I feel like Christian Watson is getting roasted a lot.
Oh, good one.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Creative, witty humor without being vulgar. It was pretty good.
Thanks. Well, that's me. Yeah. And wait till the roast of Jesse Nelson. But look, I understand that there is a frustration. I tweeted this out, and I'm big on Twitter these days. But I don't understand why people are so down on him. And it's not everybody, and I always tell you this, we can't paint fan bases with a broad brush. They are individual people, but it would seem that more people, and we can poll this if you'd like, it would seem to be more people are down on Christian Watson than are supportive of Christian Watson.
Really?
Again, maybe it's just the noise of social media, right? That people just are venting on social media, so it feels that way to me. But if you aren't, I used the word this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, if you aren't tantalized by what he could be if they can get these hamstrings figured out, then in the words of Winston Moss, I can't help you. Because he is a unicorn when it comes to the Packers wide receiver group. Agreed? There is nobody like him.
He's a difference maker. I think the question is, you saw a lot of guys emerge last year. You have put Dontavian Wicks at the top of the wide receiving core. You think
based on
is
potential.
Your star.
Based on potential.
You have him as your star.
I do.
I would argue, yeah, he's a really good player. I think he obviously had a great rookie campaign. He's someone that I think you have a lot of trust moving forward, can be a good player for you. But is there anybody that has the speed and dynamicity on that group than Christian Watson?
No,
nobody. And I keep going back to, has the injuries affected him? Obviously it has. It has not allowed him to be on the field, even when Rodgers was there. He missed time, but I just keep coming back to what he was able to do in that 5 or 6 game stretch where he was in the same breath as a rookie as Randy Blanken Moss.
Yes.
Who, by the way, did a nice job on that roast. That's where you have to look at, and rookies and young players are judged on their potential and what their ceiling can look like. But now we're getting to the point where it's year 3. He needs to find a way to stay healthy, and I know he's doing everything in his power to do it. But if he can, I still think you have to have incredibly high hopes that he will be your number 1 guy, because he does things that your other group of wideouts can't do. He puts fear in people. He outruns safeties running at an angle on him in the NFL. Now, is he the most polished route runner? No. Is he going to be their best on 3rd and 5? Not at this point. But that's where you have those skills. And if you're willing to put it, you have to also remember Davante Adams. And I am not putting Christian Watson and Davante Adams in the same sentence, but their career arcs could look similar if he can stay healthy, because there were plenty of people, we just started doing this show, that thought Davante Adams should be cut after his second year when his ankle was bad.
In favor of Jeff Janis.
He was not as effective. So Christian Watson's speed he's much faster than Davante. He over the top is much more, I think, puts much more pressure on a defense. But if you can start mixing that in, and he all of a sudden starts getting comfortable, and he will be your number 1. But that's a big if. And this is a huge season for him to prove that, because you're either going to ascend with this receiving group or you're going to sink. There isn't going to be anybody that stays flat. This is not going to be, that's the beauty of the Gutenator's plan, is that the cream is going to rise to the top. And then there'll be the milk that drops that's going to be good. You put in cereal, but you ain't making butter. You're not going to make ice cream. It'll be a nice little, okay, you know what? We're hungry. It's dinner. Just throw him some cereal, put a little milk on there. He'll find a role, but you're not going to be in that upper echelon where the cream rises. That's what's going to happen here. And if Christian Watson can stay healthy, he's going to be in the cream group. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be down with the skim milk, if that makes any sense.
And it's his responsibility to do what it takes to stay healthy, right?
Well, it's not like he wasn't trying to do that before. It comes down to, there's a luck component, and the fact he is, as you put it, 2 rookie camps ago, he is wiry. Hopefully, I have not seen him. Hopefully, he is a little bit thicker. Hopefully, there are some things that they're doing, whether it's this new strength and conditioning coach that's stretching out longer and all this other stuff. Yeah, that's great. But it's going to come down to, how do you prepare, and can you get out there for 17 weeks? Because if he can, he is going to be a difference maker. And if he is not, somebody else is going to rise up and take those reps. Mm-hmm. That's how I see this thing playing out.
All right, I want to continue this conversation, because I just think that he is potentially so special. At the same time,
Jason,
potential gets you fired.
You were talking about polling. Do you think most Packer fans think that Christian Watson is going to be the guy moving forward, or his contract's going to run out and he's going to leave? That's kind of what we're looking at here, because it is getting to be that point. And remember, he's a 2nd-round pick. He is a 4-year contract. So he will more than likely be here throughout the next 2 seasons.
Correct.
But this season will, to me, be the indicator of, we want to sign him and keep him, or we're going to probably Josh Myers and we'll let him play this contract out and go. That's how I see how this goes.
And what prompted this was, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy's question this morning was, is it a make or break season for him? And I pointed out that had they traded originally they wanted to get him at 32. The Vikings had the 32nd pick. That would have meant he was a first-round pick. And then we'd have been, after this season, trying to figure out, are they going to give him the fifth-year option? And if it continues at the way things have gone, no.
They would not.
You're not going to. But he's a second-round pick. It's 4 years. There is no option discussion a year from now in May to worry about. I get it. It's not that I don't understand fans' frustration, but have they reached the point, because Joshy said it on the YouTube comments on their show this morning, it was all, he's a bust, he sucks. And I'm just not there yet with him. And I feel like a little preachy, but I don't think Packers fans should be there with him at this point either. I think that's premature. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That's the talk and text line. Again, I'm not saying that you're wrong to be frustrated with the amount of time he's missed. That's okay. Go right ahead and be frustrated. You're a fan. You have every right to be frustrated that he hasn't played more. By the way, I'm sure he's extremely frustrated that he hasn't played more. That's why he went down to Madison and went to the UW to be part of this study that the NFL helped pay for on hamstring injuries. They got to get it fixed. We all agree on that. But are you so down on him that you're done with him? And it feels like there's more people than there should be that feel that way. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. What you should be done with, Tausch, are cramped, old, musty showers and tubs and bathrooms. Be done with those and call Kohler Services.
Indeed. And I took a shower this morning. There was the shower where it's really frustrating, where you have to pull the little ring under the nozzle to get the shower to go. That's got to go. And our friends at Kohler Services, they are constantly looking to improve your bathroom. And if you need it or a shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services, family owned for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer, providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off, 0% interest for 12 months on your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
844-770-3776 is the talk and text line. Where are you at on Christian Watson? Talk about it more next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Spring is here, and your Milwaukee and Chicago area IKEA stores are rolling the savings outdoors for the annual sidewalk sale. Visit IKEA Oak Creek, Bolingbrook, and Schaumburg from May 10th to the 27th for a wide variety of furniture and home furnishings at big discount. New products will be added throughout the sale, and don't miss IKEA's Sidewalk Sale Super Saturdays, May 11th, 18th, and 25th, where the first 200 IKEA family members receive a $25 gift card. Not an IKEA family member yet? Visit IKEA.com/US to sign up today.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because our home policies help protect your dreams and come with peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh for the Bath Authority, and if your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you gotta call my friends at the Bath Authority. All Bath Authority products are 100% made in the USA and can be installed in as little as 1 day by a certified factory technician. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety by scheduling your free in-home estimate and getting $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions do apply. TheBathAuthority.com.
This is the absolute worst time of the year to be dealing with joint pain because you can't do all the outdoor stuff that you love to do. Hey, this is Brad Nortman, and if you're tired of achy joint pain, call QC Kinetics before you agree to surgery or steroids or any harmful medications. That's what tens of thousands of real-life patients around the country have done. Patients like Patrick. He loved to golf, but he couldn't even walk because of his knee pain. After his QC Kinetics regenerative treatment, he's back and his best handicap in 15 years. And Julie, a doctor told her the only way she could get ultimate relief is with knee replacement. She went to QC Kinetics for a second opinion, and now, no surgery. She's riding her bike and feeling great. QC Kinetics is at the top of its game with National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, and teaching. I'd love to be talking about your story next, so don't wait. Call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Progressive presents Flo and Jamie announcing a monster truck rally.
And here comes the obliterator.
Whoa! And he's up on 2 wheels. That can't be safe.
Oh, I don't recommend flipping your car backwards.
Did he even check his blind spot?
And the car's on fire.
I definitely don't recommend that.
This is one of my recurring nightmares.
Progressive is all about keeping it safe, so bundle your home and auto for 24/7 protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Coverage not provided for monster trucks. Not available in all states.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Four 770-3776. We'll get to your calls and texts in a minute. So, Tausch, I feel like you and I are on the same page here. We understand the frustration. You certainly want more from him, but no one should be ready to give up on him. Fair?
You definitely shouldn't give up on him. I mean, he's a young player from a small school that is trying to figure out how to prepare his body to withstand a long NFL season. And it doesn't always click right away. But the beautiful thing is you want to have some screenshots of what this player can do. We've seen that, and it's awesome. When he's been healthy and fully go, he has not been good. He has been, again, it's a small sample size. You'd say, oh, Tausch, you're being crazy. Yeah, because I'm not going to put him in that category. But when his rookie season, when he had his run, he flipped the season for the Green Bay Packers. He resurrected kind of where the team was by what he was able to do and bring to the offense. He has a special skill set, and that's why he was drafted as high as he was, because he has all this raw talent that has to be harnessed, but it has to be maintained in order to be harnessed. So I get it. The frustration is that he's not out there. But what you also can look at and say, it doesn't always click for everybody in their first and second year. There is a growth that can happen. And if you have the talent that he has, it's worth seeing through to see if you're going to get this thing to blossom into something similar to what a Devontae Adams or someone else that has also had some of the same issues that Christian Watson is having. So I would not give up on him. I think you have a full year. And the beautiful part of this is, with this depth that you now have found, you don't need to play 70 snaps. If you need to limit it and go 40, but at some point you want him to get to the point where he is out there every snap because of what that does to a defense. Mm-hmm. That's the goal, but you don't need to do that right away. And especially early in a season, let guys figure it out, and then let the roles kind of be dictated by how these guys are playing.
So the impetus of this, and I know they didn't stream the entirety of Jason Vrabel at the podium yesterday with us, was that someone tweeted out that Vrabel said that he hadn't changed the way he would train Christian Watson, and that if Christian Watson felt like he was fatigued, which is when you can cause hamstring injuries, he wanted him to be smart enough to say, hey, I shouldn't go today, as opposed to opening it up in practice and pulling it and not being able to play in games. And I that wasn't the full context of the discussion, because I don't want anybody thinking that they're just saying, well, it's just luck of the draw and we're going to keep training him the same way. It's the guy who coaches the wide receivers. I mean, I know he's the passing game coordinator now, and Ryan Mahaffey coaches the wide receiver, but together they're not going to change how they practice. And if he needs to not practice, fine, but they're doing other things to try and get him to stay healthier. So that was what started this discussion. And to your point, they do have the depth that he doesn't have to play all the time. You want him out there, though, because he's different than most wide receivers. And it is possible that they have found the solution and that he will be better equipped to handle this with more time in an NFL weight room and more specialists that are working on this hamstring issue that he's had at the NFL level, and whether he's eating the right foods and hydrating enough and all those other things, right? You know this from younger teammates you saw. There were guys, and I'm not saying Christian Watson's one of them. I'm saying that there are guys that get to the NFL because they're super talented, and then they get there and they realize, holy crap, I got to change my lifestyle a little bit. I can't be staying out till 2 a.m. Otherwise, I'm not going to last, right? And so they have to figure out all the different parts of being a pro beyond just being conscientious and wanting to be successful. And so to me, Christian Watson seems like a pretty damn conscientious guy. Now, if your concern, and I think this is a valid one to potentially have, if your concern is that maybe he's one of those guys that if I'm not 100%, I can't go. I don't think he's that guy, but I can understand why people would be concerned that he might be that guy. That's a different discussion.
Just wait, but you're not that guy?
I think that his hamstrings, because they don't know how they're going to respond, he is leery, and they are leery as a team.
So you are that guy?
No.
Well, no,
I know that's nuanced.
You're saying that you do have to be concerned that he's not going to go if he's not 100%, because he's going to be concerned that something else will happen. That am I misreading what you're saying?
No, I think there are guys that the team thinks they can go and the player can't because he's not 100%. I think that both he and the team are afraid that if they put him out there when the hamstring is 80%, that he's going to blow it and he's going to be done for the year instead. That's the vibe I got from last season.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's always a concern when you have a fast twitch, great athlete. But there does get to be a point, especially, as your career continues, that you have to figure out how to play at 85%.
I agree. You're not wrong.
The idea of being 100% that's just not going to be the case. It's not going to work that way.
Right. But is it different with a muscle, soft tissue issue that can then become a major problem, as opposed to, say, one of you tough guys on the offensive line playing through an MCL tear?
A hamstring injury on the O-line is not just like an ankle is not when you're out in space and you have to do things. You can do a lot more in playing O-line than you can out there. No question. And it's not a fair comp. But the bottom line is, at some point, you do have to figure out. Now, if it's at 50% and you just can't explode, you can't play. But if you can still go out and do things that you believe can help your football team, even though you know that you're not 100%, the days of playing at 100%, you're not going to be 100% all year. It's how do I get through when I'm not feeling as good? How do you get to that point? That's what I think Christian Watson, on top of trying to get his hamstring correct, he also has to figure out it's not always going to feel 1,000%, and you're not going to be able to. And the coaching staff, and now that 17 games early in the season, yeah, be smart. But when you get to be end of the season, when you're playing for seeding and you're in playoffs, guys won't miss playoff games, obviously. But you're going to have to figure out that quotient or that formula of this. I know, I feel it, I can play, and this is not going to be something I want to play on. And making sure the training staff and everybody's on the same page. And I think that's probably what Vrabel was talking about yesterday.
Let's get to one call here, and then we'll try to get to some more coming up. 844-770-3776. Let's start with Dave in Grafton. Dave, thanks for holding on. What do you got?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. So I kind of agree with your last comment. A lot of people were looking at that and saying, is he really that hurt? I mean, hurt is hurt, but it's like, he hasn't been around that long that he has the luxury to sit on the bench if he's got a little tweak. And I think some of the fans were kind of feeling that way. I mean, you look back at like Giannis playing like with a hyperextended knee in the fifth game, when you saw that injury, I don't know, you got to put a little more heart into it, it seems like.
And that's my point, is that I think there are people that are questioning that about him. And you're basically admitting that that's part of the thing for fans, right?
Yeah. I think it very much is. And exactly. The other thing you guys were talking about before with the national media, it drives me crazy listening to some of those guys. The other night after Bucks game 5, when they had such a great effort and came back, all they wanted to talk about was New York and Philadelphia. They get so tired about hearing about LeBron and Kyrie Irving and James Harden, all these old guys and these big markets, it just gets tiring.
Thanks for the call, Dave. We appreciate you. Yeah, again, I agree that is frustrating for fans. I don't get the sense that Christian Watson is a malingerer, that he could play and he's not. Now, whether or not there is a team-wide training staff, medical staff, player, coach concern that if it's on the border and they let him play and he opens it up, that he's going to really damage it and then be done for the year. I think that was the MO for them last year. That's what I think. And the problem is that for a player, that makes it look like you're not willing to play hurt. When I don't think that was the case with him. But again, you're right, Tausch. You get to a point where it's, you know what? I don't want to use any profane language and throw Jesse off like it's a roast or something. But at some point, it is hard not to think it's time to blank or get off the pot. I get it. 844-770-3776. We'll get to more of your thoughts. We'll get to a few texts. Tausch, again, you're not doing prize picks till you get back into the great state of Wisconsin. But when you do, I'll be curious to know what the projections will be for Christian Watson sometime this season.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You can look ahead with some of the projections for football. You also have hockey playoffs. You have basketball playoffs. You got golf. I think tennis. I think the old big French Open is coming up. We got all that. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. Over 3 million active members, and it is simple to play. 2 to 6 player stat projections. You go more or less on those projections. It takes 60 seconds or less to do it. It's simple. So simple I can do it. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions, special offers for the biggest moments in sports. Download the app today. Use that code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code WI on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
We'll get to your text next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Sarah, we're doing it again for Mother's Day.
We're doing it again? I can't believe we did it the first time.
It's a real rose.
An American Beauty rose.
Completely covered in pure 24-karat gold.
These are amazing!
Or you can get your rose covered in pink gold.
Real gold. Pure gold. And are you ready for this?
I'm never ready for this next part.
$99.
I need to lie down and put a cool rag on my forehead.
A full-size American Beauty rose preserved forever in pure gold.
Wait a minute.
Okay, we're waiting.
Can I buy 2 of them?
Of course.
Wait.
Okay.
Can I buy 3 of them and give one to my mom and one to my best friend and keep one for myself?
Of course you can, Sarah. This is America.
You'll find $99 full-size gold roses at Kessler's. Visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com to find the location nearest you.
Happy Mother's Day!
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Hurt by a truck? Call Gruberg offices. One call, that's all.
A Brewers Group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Birthday parties, anniversaries, or bachelor parties. You can count on the Brewers to host. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite spot at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
Spring fishing is finally here, and Fleet Farm has everything you need to reel in more fish this year. Upgrade your gear with the best brands like Rapala, Berkeley, and St. Croix. Find exclusive flicker sheds you won't find anywhere else, starting at $12.99. Get rod and reel combos starting at only $24.99. And shop our wide selection of fishing line that starts at just $4.99. Land top fishing gear and everything else you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
For your next night out, make Aria, the acclaimed restaurant inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel, your dinner destination. Aria, nestled on the second floor of St. Kate, is an artful dining experience that captivates with its culinary creativity. Delighting in its offering of artisanal American cuisine, the restaurant transcends tradition and leans into the realm of playful and inventive flavors. Come and experience the magic of Aria, where every bite is a work of culinary artistry. Learn more and make reservations at aria@stkate.com.
What is dedication?
People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike and you didn't? I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Let's get to a few text messages on this, because, again, I'm not here to be a Christian Watson apologist. His dad does plenty of that. My issue is, let's just slow our roll a little bit on our frustration with him. That's all. And he may prove to be a disappointment, but I can tell you this, as we talked about at the time, Tausch, the general manager had a chance to put him in a trade and bring Jonathan Taylor to Green Bay. And I would tell you that there was a feeling in the building that they were not ready to give up in any way on Christian Watson and trade him away.
Yeah, and
what do
they
you got for
didn't
text?
They didn't want to pay Jonathan Taylor
well, it's true.
the contract either. That's the other component to that. But yeah.
Indeed. All right, Jesse, what do you got on the text line?
All right, first one comes in from our guy, Matt Coonan. Aren't Wicks, it's a long one, so buckle in. Aren't Wicks, Reed, and Dobbs the biggest influence on whether Watson gets a second contract? They can't pay 4 guys, and you pay the healthy guys first. All 4 are likely to be looking for more than their production will warrant because they'll be taking each other's targets for the next 2 years. That's why Green Bay needs to get out of this trend of all their pass catchers hitting their end of their deals at the same time. It's been an issue since 2014. Matt Coonan on the text line. Your thoughts?
Well, Tausch, I would say this. Yeah, they have a bunch of guys now, and you made this point earlier that they have a bunch of guys that if Christian Watson doesn't work out, they're fine letting him walk like they did with John Runyon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their hope would be that over the next 2 years, he's healthy, happy, and productive, and they want to pay him because he's such a unique player. But this is the cost of doing business. If you're not healthy enough to play, what's the best availability? Availability is the best ability. Like, if he's not available and this continues to be an issue for the next 2 years, they will let him walk and then cross their fingers and hope that he doesn't finally figure it out for someone else and tilts the field for them for the next 5 years. But yeah, that's how it works. Then they'll give these other guys the opportunities.
And that's why this season's, I think, really important, because this is going to be kind of your moving year and trying to figure out who's elevated. In an ideal world, you're going to see 4 and 5 guys all play at a high level and, be fighting for catches and fighting for those reps to get out there when you're going to be getting balls thrown to you. But again, Christian Watson, his speed is a differentiator. These other receivers are all nice players. I think Jaden Reed has shown the ability to get open. He's got speed. He can do everything, but he does not have the same skill set as Christian Watson does. So now it's going to look at, and, Matt's correct in his assessment of, well, all these guys are going to be up. If everybody is playing at a high level, then you have to look at who do I think is going to continue to get better and better. And I'm going to pay, at that point, if you're looking at a number 1 receiver, Justin Jefferson's going to get $30+ million now. In 2 years, what is that going to look like? Now, does that mean you're going to get Justin Jefferson money? Probably not in Green Bay, because my guess is, as we've talked about the last 2 or 3 weeks with the new Gutenator plan, if you're not Justin Jefferson or one of these elite of elite, we will offer you a fair contract. If that does not work, we'll take a comp pick and we'll reset the clock. And then we'll just keep doing it. And last year, I do believe, emboldened Goody's attitude on that and how successful he was and how successful this group was at growth and developing. Now, I would hasten to say, buyer, bring your own bewareness when it comes to that theory, because just because it works once doesn't mean it'll work twice. And for everybody that says, well, I don't want to pay a number 1 wideout $35 million a year, if you're getting great production, you do. And the tough part of that is you're going to be paying Jordan Love 50+. That's going to be a monster chunk. And this cycle of how they're doing it is beautiful. They've timed it up and made it work because you have a lot of young players on rookie contracts. You won't have that luxury in 2 years. You will have to make incredibly difficult decisions. And my guess, you'll see this cycle of drafting some young wideouts start back next year. Let these guys kind of siphon through and figure out who's going to stay. And you'll pay them at a low number 1, high 2, and then you'll reset the clock. And some of these guys will leave. And I think for Christian Watson, I think the goal for him should be, I want to be a top tier number 1 wideout. And the only way to do that is to stay healthy and go out there and earn it. And I think that's obviously what his plan is. How the Packers approach it and say, well, we only want you taking 40 snaps. That's when things can get interesting. And that's why I think it's going to be so fun to watch this room from the outside, because you have a lot of really young players that are going to fight and scrap to get every rep. And you're going to have the Packers trying to figure out, how do I keep everybody happy? And you know how the old adage goes. When you try to keep everybody happy, A lot of
no
times
one's happy.
You make nobody happy. Yeah. And how that balance is, good luck, Matt LaFleur, Jason Vrabel, and everybody else over there.
Let's get to one more text because I think John in Menominee Falls' text is a really smart one, Jesse.
John in Menominee Falls, I don't think that most people are done with him and want him to be traded. I think most people are done with getting their hopes up that he's going to be a superstar. At this point, anything he adds is a bonus, but there are no expectations of greatness.
Interesting text. I think that's a really good. And I do think when you're talking about young players, you hope immediately, and then you start saying, well, this is who this guy is. And unfortunately right now, I look at the Christian Watson and think, man, look at what can be. What did we see when he's healthy? But yes, if you're counting on, as a player, your goal is for the coaches to trust you and that you can be counted on. This is the production I am going to get on the average basis each week. If your grade is an 86, he better give you an 86. There might be some weeks he's a 91. It might be some weeks he's a 92, but his mean is going to be 86. That's where he's going to be graded out. That's what I expect. And because I know we can win with that. And right now with Christian Watson, it's, man, that's so great. But I can't count on him being available to put all that pressure on defenses on a regular basis until you prove that that's what is the case. And that is his challenge this year. That's why he's down at Madison studying his hand, trying to make sure he can piece it together, because 1, 2, 3 years becomes a trend. Right now, the trend line is, man, he's good when he's out there. He's just not out there enough. And I think old boy in Menominee Falls is just saying, hey, we love it when he's out there, but I'm not going to get my hopes up that I can count on him being the guy in that 5-game stretch that was on the same trajectory as Randy Moss's rookie season. It's much more, when he's out there, he'll make some plays. It's just, man, I don't know how much I can count on him being out there.
Right. And that is, we talk about our old friend Homer, and the Homer rule is don't judge a player based on a young player based on what he does when he's bad, base it on what he does when he's good, because that shows you what he's capable of.
But is he a young player still?
I think so. I don't think he is. I don't think he is going into this season. But I think his first 2 years coming from North Dakota State, which is a great FCS school, I always want to just call it 1AA, I think it's still applied to him last year. But John's point is exactly right. You were tantalized by what he did during that 3-game stretch during his rookie season. You were teased again by some of the things he did last season when he was healthy enough to be out there. But he missed half the games.
Yep.
He did. And that's not that you need him for more. You want him for more. And if you don't have him for more, and this continues to be the case the next 2 years, you're not going to have many more because you're going to give
Coaches want to be able to sleep at night. Coaches want to be able to count on, he's going to be at practice. We're going to be able to rep this, and he's going to be there when the game's on the line. And when you can't do that consistently, coaches will move on.
Yep.
That's how this league works. Unless you are a star of stars, at some point it's like, I just can't count on you being there. We need to go to the next guy. We got to get him ready so that we make sure our team is prepared to win this game.
All right, we need to play trivia, and Tausch needs to tell us about Lac LaBelle, which I think maybe is today opening day for them.
No, May 5th. May 5th.
Oh, it's already open.
Yes.
It's ready to go. I knew it was May something. May Day. It was not May the 4th be with you. We need to play trivia, though, and we will take, caller 5 for May 5th when Lac LaBelle opened. Caller 5, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. We haven't gotten to a lot of the things that the assistant coaches talked about yesterday. Today we have Rich Bisaccia and the defensive coaches. Yesterday we had the offensive coaches. Which Packers assistant coach am I? Trivia, caller 5, 844-770-3776. Tausch, tell us about Lac LaBelle.
Lac LaBelle, the birthplace of golf in Wisconsin, with a rich history you feel once you arrive. You can experience a round at the club at Lac LaBelle Right now, the historic course is open to the public and 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time today at club@locklabelle.com. This is a golf destination. You're going to play over and over and over and over again. And if you're looking for more golf, take advantage of the same day replay rates. Enjoy fine dining and event space after your round. A historic past that meets a vibrant future. Go to theclub@locklabelle.com to start your journey today. I love that. You go play, man, I'm having too much fun, and you get a great replay rate to get back out there and play again. That's when you can just enjoy the full day out at Loch LaBelle.
Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The biggest games of the NBA playoffs happen right here.
Mitchell down the lane, fends off Wagner and lays it in with the right hand. And right now, he is on fire here.
Tune in Saturday night starting at 7 as the series shifts to Cleveland for Game 3 between the Celtics and Cavs.
Tatum drives on Hawkins, lays it up and in, 9-0 Boston.
We are the home of the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio, 94.5 ESPN, and streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Joe Fortenbaugh.
If the Celtics find their way in the finals and lose, and it's not against Denver, I think they're going to get absolutely buried. They trashed everybody during the regular season. They had the best record by a mile. They crushed the Warriors by 50 points in Boston. They trashed the Heat in the opening round of the playoffs. It looks like they're going to destroy Cleveland in the second round of the playoffs. You could go into a series with the Knicks, if that's who you end up playing. You could handle them in 5, maybe 6. You could make it look relatively easy. You get to the finals with Jaylen Brown as the highest paid player in the NBA right now, with Jason Tatum, who people were trying to make a very strong case for MVP this year, Derek White hitting every three-pointer he takes, with Kristaps Porzingis coming back healthy, assuming he comes back healthy. You go up against a team like Minnesota and upstart, who could truly be a great team, and you lose that series. That Boston team's going to get crushed.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized with help from Beacon. I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm the guy that never gives 5 stars because I never believe that anything is perfect. But I would give them 20 stars if I could.
Ernest Stellar Review belongs to QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments. They came through when he badly needed relief for his aching knees, and doctors had told him that surgery was the only option.
What they're doing is cutting edge, and it really helps. And I'm a tough sell.
QC Kinetics is led by National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in this field. With 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, publishing in non-surgical natural pain treatments. These are the medical pros to trust.
I'm living my life basically pain-free from what I was dealing with, so I'm a happy camper today, no doubt about it.
QC Kinetics. Call today to see if you're a candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Time for trivia. So Tex has a new vehicle. Is that what I'm to understand here?
Formerly, he was Tex in a work van, and now
Down by the river.
Now he is Tex in a work truck. Yeah. So I guess I don't know if that's an upgrade. I would assume so.
Tex, good morning. How's your new vehicle treating you?
Oh, she drives just fine. I appreciate you asking. Yeah, like I was telling Jesse, the blind spot is not nearly as bad in this one.
Oh, okay. Well, Jesse's got some blind spots of his own, but that's another discussion for another day. All right, let's play trivia. The questions are, which Packers assistant coach am I? Question number one, Tex, is this. After the head coach was fired early in the season, I helped lead the Las Vegas Raiders to a playoff berth as interim head coach during the 2021-22 season. Which Packers assistant coach am I? Am I Rich Bisaccia, Jeff Hafley, or I'll tell you what, man, that's a good question, John Gruden?
I'm going to go with option A.
You're 1 for 1, Tex. Well done. Tausch, you got question 2?
Thank you.
All right, Tex. I started a game at Lambeau Field just 2 short years ago while playing for a division rival. Now I'm an offensive assistant on the Packers coaching staff. Which Packers assistant coach am I? Is it Eddie Gordon, John Dunn, or Sean Mannion?
That's probably Sean Mannion. Because I like that name.
Good guess.
Hey.
And it's the right one.
Really good name. Mannion.
Yeah,
really like
that.
that.
Yes.
It is.
He's the man. Yeah. All right, question 3, Tex, and a chance for a perfect day. Was that a courtesy laugh from you, Tauscher?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. Wilde.
Mark,
Tauscher.
as,
that was weird.
Evan called
That whole
you earlier
sequence was
today.
weird.
I played safety and linebacker at Rutgers, where I also began my coaching career as a student assistant in 2005. Which Packers assistant coach am I? Am I Jason Vrabel, Anthony Campanile, or Ben Simmons?
Let's go with Jason Vrabel.
Let's not.
What's the most fun name on that list, Tex?
I thought Vrabel was the most fun. That's why I went with it.
Really? Over Anthony Campanile? Come on, really?
Anthony
Anthony Campanile.
I didn't want to screw up saying that. I thought I'd probably get that one wrong.
Yeah, well, you did. Congratulations, you did, because it was Anthony Campanile.
Oh,
Could have
roasted.
said B.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Tex,
Courtesy
Tex,
laugh.
you got 2 out of 3. That means you got 3 of the possible 4 entries in your new, less blind spotty truck that you're driving down by the river. We appreciate your loyalty to the show, buddy, and good luck in the drawing on Friday.
Yeah, thanks later, guys. Good talking to you.
All right,
Tex.
that was
Love
Wilde
you
and Tausch
guys.
trivia.
Classic Tex right there.
That
wasn't
is
it?
Tex, yeah. Do you think he drives a Coors Light truck? Because that
He
would
could.
be really something.
He could, he should, if he wants to chill. You know, I've had plenty of Coors Lights on my little spring break voyage, and it's because it's made to chill. Coors Light, brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged, because it's made to chill. And I made sure, man, Dallas, Texas got on the airport yesterday, 94 degrees. You know, old T needed that sweaty Blue Mountain Silver Bullet Coors Light. I celebrated responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
The 11 o'clock hour will begin with a quote from one of the assistant coaches, not one of the correct answers, John Dunn. If you don't know what position John Dunn coaches, you will when we kick off the 11 o'clock hour, because he is talking about his guys like Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. We'll talk about it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Each day, there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely, and you feel better when you can. But you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back. But it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods. Now through Wednesday, save on 24-pack Essential Everyday Purified Water, 2 for $7. 8.2 to 20-ounce selected varieties C-Pack Seafood, $6.99. 4.5 to 5.3 ounce selected varieties Chobani Flips Yogurts, 2 for $3. Gallon Prairie Farms White Milk, $3.99. Half gallon Prairie Farms Chocolate Milk, $2.49.
Why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 24th.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune into Kyle Bruston Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down on my last breath. Even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on.
The 11 o'clock hour.
I'm not giving up, no, not yet.
Begins now.
Oh, what are you drinking? What do we have?
So I got a question for you before we get to some of these assistant coach topics. So I know we don't give away free advertising, but did Tier 1 Tyler invent bubbler drinks? Is that right, Jesse?
No.
Oh, I thought he had a bigger role in the.
You think he'd be hanging out with Jesse if he invented
God, if he was the inventor of bubbler, he'd let it go to his head.
Well, it is a Pepsi company, right? And we've got a great partnership with Pepsi. But so they gave out these canned koozies at Summerfest last year, and Maddie and Sid collected all the colors, and they had an extra blue one, so they gave me one, right? And I found myself wondering while you were talking about your Coors Lights, are you a koozie guy? Because I got to say, I'm using this today. It's in my office. I don't have one at home. I suppose I do. I just haven't grabbed it and stolen it from the girls. But, like, it really does work. Like, I would bet that the Blue Mountains of Coors Light stay even bluer longer with this insulated koozie thing. I recommend it.
Why do you think they invented koozies? Do you think
I
they invented
understand,
it just to
but
look pretty
correct.
or what?
I understand the concept behind them. I understand
Do
how
ya?
they work. I do.
Well,
I
why
just
are you
never
so
had.
surprised then?
Here's why I'm surprised. I'd never used one before. I had never in my life used one.
What?
Until now. Yeah, never put anything on the outside of the can.
Yeah, I mean, typically koozies are thought of as for alcoholic drinks, and obviously that's not something you partake in. So I get that, but it's been years. People now with all of the different, concoctive things that you put in, whether it's you know what I'm talking about, like those stainless steel jugs that people are using, and then the koozies you got the skinny koozies for the seltzers, you got the thick koozies for the beers. It makes sense. I'm just surprised even that it's been around forever. Koozies
I
been around as
know.
long as
I'm a late adopter. I'm sorry.
I guess.
I was just curious. All right. I didn't mean to get us derailed there. And I didn't mean to get
You've never used a koozie before?
Never had used one.
Until today.
Yeah, right here. There it is.
Is that really that surprising?
Yes.
Is it? No, it's not. Jesse, it's not. It's just not Jesse.
Jesse's beside himself.
Unless there's like
he's
a bucket
at
of him in his basement. Where do you think? Where's he out and about getting a koozie?
Like you
don't go to a bar and get a.
You don't have
go out
to go
dinner.
to all you have to do is sit outside at anything. Like.
He doesn't. That's not what Jason does.
The amount of
he goes to gymnastics meet. He sits in a ballet hall. I don't think ballet hall's nothing against it. I don't think they're full of koozies.
We've done
it's not a koozie
remote shows where we give away koozies from ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison, ESPN Beaver. He does. We've seen him there. How has he never just ended up with one that he's put over a drink of any kind?
That's not where he lives. That's not where he lives, and that's okay.
In fairness, I do believe we have had some in our home. I have just never utilized them at any point. You're right. We do give those away.
When you go out to the slip and slide outside, you never thought, oh, well, I sit out here today and the girls are playing in the slip and slide. I'm going to just put this koozie on my beverage while I'm sitting here.
Well, I would hate for it to tip over while I leaped out of my seat to tend to them after they'd been injured on the slip and slide. All right.
This is amazing.
I'm sorry.
I'm amazed you're amazed. Like I don't know why you would be amazed by that. It's like, yeah, that's
it's such a mundane thing for it to be the first time he's ever done it. Like, I can't tell you the first.
You're not wrong.
The first time I probably used a koozie, I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Well, good for the koozie.
Drinking a Coors Lights.
At Grandma's house, Sunday swimming in the pool.
Jesse, you were not using a koozie at 4 years
I
old.
bet I was.
No, you weren't.
You drink
on a sippy cup.
Yeah.
Text your mama and see if mama said that you used a koozie when you were 4. Because a sippy cup and you're putting a koozie around a sippy cup?
You don't know. You can put a koozie around a brisk iced tea or a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew or anything.
You're not sucking down Mountain Dew when you're 4 years old.
You don't know my life.
I don't think you were, but maybe
I don't think you want to either.
I don't know if I was or not, actually. It was a young age.
Yeah, it wasn't 4. I'd say 8 or 9 I could maybe get on board, but 4, no. I don't think so. Text mama and see if mommy will tell you.
I'll text mama right now.
Okay.
All right. As much as I'd love to continue to discuss my koozie, I didn't mean to derail us because I know you were very excited about this topic. John Dunn is the Packers tight ends coach. He was one of the trivia answers, but not one of the correct answers. And yesterday, when he was asked about the possibilities with Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, he said that they are limitless. Mr. Unlimited. Tausch, I agree with him. Now, his point as he went on was these guys have to execute the stuff. We can draw up all kinds of great plays, but they have to execute it. I don't know. I know wide receiver gets a lot of attention, and we spent a lot of time on it today because of Christian Watson. I don't know if there is a position other than wide receiver on this team that people are more excited about than that dynamic duo. Agreed?
No, I would disagree. I think everybody is pretty excited about what this linebacker group can do now. I think we're pretty excited about whatever the safety group's going to look like. I'm excited about what the running back group's going to look like. I think we kind of know. Now, what I'm excited about, and this is where I disagree with old boy, how are you going to scheme and use them? That's what I'm excited about, because the balancing act you're going to have, we already discussed, 5 wideouts that you feel good about, and making sure everybody gets touches and feels included and, doesn't go into pout mode. The same thing is, well, how much are you going to use 2 tights when you feel great about, 5 wideouts? How do you go about doing that? Because I think the 2 tight end set is super, versatile. And especially when you have 2 guys that you both feel really good about running routes and finishing and doing some of the play action, keep stuff that you can. That's the part. But you can be excited about both young players, and I am. But what are you going to do, Matt LaFleur? How are you going to do that and set this up and get these guys enough that this is going to be a real viable personnel grouping that can be weaponized on first and second down? That's what I'm excited about. And obviously those players, as coach was just talking about, have to go out and execute. But this to me is, all right, you're a schematic genius. That's what everybody has told us. And by the way, Matt LaFleur has done a really good job of getting people wide open, especially on first and second down. Now, how much more fun can you have when you have that and you put Josh Jacobs in there and you still have use for a wideout or two? That's intriguing to me. And how you go about mixing and matching personnel while also figuring out, what do we want to do tempo-wise? I mean, there was the great debate of, I think, 2017 or 2016. Oh, do you use personnel groupings or do you go tempo? These are all great problems to have, and trying to figure out what that right formula is for all of those things, that's where you get that big magician's hat on, Matt LaFleur, and start stirring that pot up and figuring out which potions are going to be the best versus which teams. And that's coaching, and that's got to be exciting for Matt and his staff.
Magicians or witches on the potions and the bubbling cauldrons?
I think they both use potions. Obviously, witches get more witches brew, but I think magicians have to kind of come up with, all right, I've done this trick. I'm really good at it, but you have to keep things fresh. You can't keep pulling out a handkerchief and run it out till end and not expect anything but courtesy laughs. You better have some card tricks. You better be pulling a rabbit out of a hat. You better be making things disappear. You got to have more versatility. So Matt LaFleur, while a witch's brew is great, it's kind of a one-trick pony. The magician's brew is numerous things, dropping boxes and slicing people in half and all the other stuff.
Witches get stitches. So
isn't a witch a magician?
No, I don't think she is, actually.
Like, isn't what a witch does magic?
What a witch wants, what a witch needs.
Thank you, Chet Holmgren. So, Tausch, help people understand.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to break character here for a second. So Don Makowski and his wife are down at this event I'm at. And they last night, I gave them. So did you know Don Makowski was up and did a song at a Poison concert 2 weeks before the season when he was holding out? Did you know he was on stage at the old Brown County and was jamming with his hair flowing like Bret Michaels and rocked to Poison? Did you know that?
No, I've had not.
You need
heard
to
that
pull
story.
up that. You need to pull up. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, but I showed him, and his wife now are subscribers to our show. She thought that the headlines musicals were some of the best stuff. She was shocked that I was as good a singer as I was. Now, granted, she may have had a couple Coors Lights and maybe was not telling me the God's honest truth, but I thought that. So we got 2 new subscribers to our home for the holidays.
No. Okay. Well, first of all, God bless Don Makowski's wife for being so nice to you. She couldn't believe how good of a singer you were. Is that what? Did she? Are you sure she didn't listen to John Schneider and think that was you?
No, I played my Eminem song.
Okay.
All right. That was one of your better pieces.
Or anybody else? Yeah. It was
Secondly, I do have a YouTube video. I will send it to Jesse of Don Makowski on stage with Bret Michaels and Poison at a concert. So yes, this has been confirmed.
Wow.
It did in fact occur.
So I think, and I don't know if the Academy's listening today, I think we're going to have to get something and get Don. And by the way, Don's wife,
and Bret
also
Michaels,
a good singer. Mikowski wants to play guitar as I'm doing one of these songs, which I think could be kind of fun.
Sign me up.
Is the next iteration of headlines you're going to bring in Packers alumni musical guests like SNL every week?
This was way too much work this year, so I can't imagine that's the road we're going down. But as I told you, we had a conference back in March where we have ideas as far as what we're going to do. I don't know exactly if we've finalized, but I think we have. But now that Mikowski is up for being in one of our skits, we're going to have to incorporate him at some point.
To predict this week's Packers-Saints game, please welcome to the stage Donald Driver.
John Michaels instead of Bret Michaels. All right. That's a great story. So he told that story like to you personally, or like as part of the program last night, or what exactly?
No, just to yeah, it wasn't like to the program. The program's later today. This was just chewing it up, chopping it up a little bit, if you wish.
All right. I do have a follow-up question.
So you think she was lying? You think she thinks I was terrible and she just lied? Jesse?
I don't think she lied. I think you surpassed expectations that she may have had. And she may have had
you negotiated those choppy
that was threading the needle
very well.
And I'm sure the Coors Light didn't hurt.
Fair enough.
I want to get back to something that Tausch said there before we got to Don Mikowski on stage with Poison. I'll ask him that question coming up next. Want to remind you, if you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident and seriously injured and you need legal representation, there is only one call to make. One call, that's all. David Gruber and his team at Gruber Law Offices, they have been doing this for over 35 years. They know how to win. They know how to get what you deserve. So go to gruber-law.com to find out more about the firm, about their history, about the great lawyers that they have on staff, and everything they do in the community, or make that one call. That's all. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. I will ask Tausch my question about personnel groupings because I think he can give us some really good insight on it. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
I will say, if you're driving yourself to the game, can't bring
Come on.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
18, 19. If you're a teenager, you can still bring a glove.
License is the way to go.
What if it's vote?
No.
Why can't we compromise?
I'm willing to vote. I don't know how to make it more clear.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright, it's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside and no drafts, it's a game changer.
Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. That's 5/31/2024.
Hey guys, it's Brad Nortman here to tell you about a great offer at Bank 5-9. I know we're all looking for ways to save our money, and at Bank 5-9, you can earn more by opening a money market account today. With rates as high as 5.3%, you'll earn more while working with a true local community bank. Be sure to check out their great CDs too. Helping you save more of your money is another way Bank 5-9 is making lives better. For details, visit bank59.com/MM specials. Member FDIC.
What do you
get when you combine grilled-to-order deliciousness with only the finest Wisconsin cheeses? Cousin Sub's new Wisconsin cheesesteaks, featuring either steak or chicken, bacon, cheddar cheese, sautéed onions, and their new Cheddar Supreme cheese sauce. It's a match made in dairy heaven. And the decadence doesn't stop there. Pair your Wisconsin cheesesteak with their new Orange Dream Shake. All are available for a limited time only. Order in store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
What are we doing today?
One of the employee owners has an idea.
Who is it?
Casey Goodson.
Well, hi, you must be Casey Goodson.
That's me. Casey has been with Kessler's for 22 years and became an owner 12 years ago.
We're excited to hear your idea, Casey.
I call it the One Collection.
But we've had special collections in the past.
What are you saying?
Casey, I think Rick is saying that this can't be the one collection because we've offered special collections in the past.
I'm not saying it's the first collection. It's a special collection of engagement rings for the woman that you know is the one. The one for you. The one forever.
What's in it?
Incredibly special rings for incredibly special women.
How much?
Most of them are between $725 and $2,800.
I like it.
I like it.
Me too.
When you have found the one, you'll find her ring waiting patiently for you to come and pick it up at Kessler's.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
For the ultimate sports betting experience, get in the game at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Unleash your inner champion with dozens of betting kiosks, a VIP deck, high-end bar, first-class restaurant, broadcast booth, a 2,000-square-foot video wall, and more. It's a sports fan's paradise, 24/7. Bet above the rest. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Visit the website for more. Must be 21 years old. All bets must be made on site.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
All right, Tausch, quick questions so we can get to Wone Nelly, and then I can get to the defensive coaches and Rich Bisaccia, who were talking this morning at 11:45. You mentioned the finding the line between tempo and personnel groupings. And you know this as well as anyone because you played for Mike McCarthy, and for a good chunk of his time here, he loved to change personnel groupings, and LaFleur has kind of taken that page too, especially when he had a veteran group and then during the second half of last season, where basically you guys were changing personnel almost every snap, right? Different personnel groupings were trotting onto the field. And then you guys, and I think it would have been mostly the year after you retired and then a little bit later in the Rodgers-McCarthy era, where they kind of became enamored with no huddle and going up tempo. Well, you can't substitute then. So I always thought that the more you changed personnel, the more it put the opposing team in scramble mode because they just didn't know what you were going to trot out there next. And with the group that this team has, with the wide receivers it has, with the tight ends it has, that would seem to be a potential strength for them. So help us understand how you walk that line between taking advantage of tempo and throwing off a defense and taking advantage of different personnel groups and throwing off a defense.
Well, I think the thing that I'm always looking for is you always want to have good tempo, even when you're mixing personnel groupings, and you want to kind of dictate what you're doing to the opposing team. So if the New England Patriots like subbing with everybody, you go ahead and do that. And that's where Rodgers got a kick out of always trying to get 12 men on the field and everything else. But you have to know your football team. And if you have a distinct 12 or 13 guys that you want to play a ton, that's what you do. But if you're multiple and you have a bunch of different guys, you have like when Alan Lazard was here, it's, you know what? We love him as a crack block guy and being a physical wideout. So we're going to do a lot of perimeter runs. And off of that, we can do a lot of keep passes because everybody thinks we're going to be doing perimeter runs. I really think with this grouping, and we already talked about the tight ends, 5 wideouts, you got a couple backs that you like. I think this has to be a high-tempoed personnel switching, 12 personnel, and go to 3 or 4 wideouts. You just constantly, because I want to make sure I have as many guys engaged as I can. I want to make sure everybody is all in this thing, because a lot of times you can get, it's really difficult to stay fully engaged when you're not getting reps and you think that you should be. So until a certain grouping kind of puts it out there that they're the dominant group, if you end up going with 2 tights and you're averaging 5 yards a play, you're going to run a lot of 2 tights. Now, if you're going 4 wides and you're looking at it and all of a sudden you're getting all kinds of explosives, it's a kind of a competition within itself of how you end up getting more and more guys playing. Is how can we mix and match, and what can we do, and how can we play to each of these players' strengths? And then you can still mix in tempo, and you can have if it's, with 5 minutes left in the game, you want to slow things down, you go with your big package. And if it's all of a sudden just, we're struggling a little bit here in the first quarter, hey, this is the grouping we're going with, go. We're going to go tempo. You want to be versatile in all of those things. But I think with this group and with all of the young talent that hasn't really said, settled yet as far as what everybody's role is, I want to give these guys as many different looks and as many different rep opportunities that I can, because I think from a defensive standpoint, it's always a heck of a lot easier. Okay, this is what they do out of this personnel grouping. We can really zone in. But when you're getting there and then you have to sub a D lineman out for a nickel, and all of a sudden, we shifted. Now do we have to go with this guy? And then that tells you information for Jordan Love that's going to be man-to-man. It always seems like the more personnel groupings you can go in between, it puts that much more pressure on a defense. But you have to be good at it, and you have to be fundamentally sound on your end, because that also causes some pre-snap motion penalties and some alignment issues. So that's what these coaches are going to have to think about as they go through their process of figuring out how they want to approach things, especially early in the season.
All right, Tausch, tell us about the AmFam Championship, which is right around the corner, and then we'll get to Wonelli.
Yes, you can watch PGA Tour champions, including tournament host and defending champion Steve Stricker, at the American Family Insurance Championship when it returns to University Ridge Golf Course Friday, June 7th through June 9th. Tournament week includes an exciting concert featuring 3-time Grammy Award winner Train on Friday, June 7th at Breeze Stevens Fields. Proceeds will support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and the American Family Children's Hospital. You can get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com. Again, that's one of our favorite weeks of the year. We love it. We'll be out there on Friday. Again, go to amfamchampionship.com.
Wonelli is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary, because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Did you know that the phrase, "When is Mother's Day," is the most searched when phrase in the world? So just to be safe, let me remind you that Mother's Day is this Sunday. Yes, this Sunday. Need a bottle of wine or champagne for brunch? Or maybe a great gift idea? Remember, moms sacrifice so much for us, and it starts by going 9 months without alcohol. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960, we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for a great Mother's Day gift. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Happy Mother's Day.
A Brewers Group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Birthday parties, anniversaries, or bachelor parties. You can count on the Brewers to host. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite spot at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
Eagle Sports Range has an unbeatable offer on concealed carry license classes. For just $49, enroll in their 3-hour class led by expert instructors prioritizing safety. Learn laws, techniques, and mindset for responsible carrying. Stick around for an optional hour of range time with instructors included in the package. Practice under professional guidance and gain confidence. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day at 2525 East Layton Avenue in Cudahy. Secure your spot at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where safety meets skill.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your Higher Love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at Find Higher Love.
I'm Ben Jewick with Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors. The crew is winning ball games here in Milwaukee and around the country. Our team stands ready to help your organization win across North America. Powered by Coakley Connect, our revolutionary facilities management platform, the Coakley crew supports clients across the country manage their real estate portfolio, offering facility-focused products and services, interior design, construction, new furniture, installation, and move management. We'll help you create and manage interior environments that drive your teams forward. Visit CoakleyBrothers.com and hit a home run.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Time now for Whoa Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa Nelly
on Wilde and Tausch.
So the story of the morning nationally, the Indiana Pacers lost Game 2 to the New York Knicks last night. They have filed 78 instances of incorrect or non-call grievances with the NBA, upset about the officiating in the first 2 games of the series at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
Rick Carlisle is the head coach. He's been very vocal and frustrated about what's been going on, including citing that large market teams seem to get an advantage over small market teams. Tausch, I think it's one thing if a fan says this as we're watching at home, or even if a media member says this watching on the sidelines. When you have an NBA champion veteran head coach making this big of a deal out of the officiating in the first 2 games of a series, what does it lead you to believe?
Well, he's obviously frustrated, and I think within reason, the game, I guess it was Monday night, the first game. Last night, I think, whatever. But the first game they were completely robbed. They made a steal that they called a kick ball on that wasn't a kicked ball, and that turns the complete game around. So the NBA needs to be really tough on coaches that are basically saying the same conspiracy theories that some of us that are in small markets say. And when that validates what we're thinking, which is a dangerous game to play, if you're the NBA, you better get that thing stopped immediately, because again, the integrity of your games is everything. If you don't feel that way, officiating, they're going to make a ton of mistakes. 78, it's a lot. But I'm telling you, every NFL team, they send in somewhere between 5 and 10 clips a week that they feel like the officials missed, and they're not doing it. They want to vent because they're pissed, but what they're really trying to do is get the next call, get the next game, get those home games to start making these officials think, have we been wrong this much? And not that they're going to change completely, but we're all human beings, and we all recognize we make mistakes. And when you make a mistake, what do you try to do? You try and rectify that mistake. And I think that's what Rick Carlisle's trying to do.
Yeah, submitting 78 is obviously a message, right? I mean, they want to make sure that they are making this, because if they submit 4, Jesse, are we even talking about it?
Probably not. You're looking at, well, you examine the 4 and say, well, did it make a difference in the game? But
right,
yeah.
But maybe not our show, right? We're not a Pacers-based show. So it worked. It's got us talking about it. I know Evan and Michelle and Canty talked about it on Unsportsmanlike today a lot too. But again, the officiating was not great. I don't disagree with that. At the same time, I thought Evan made a good point with where the Knicks were at, with the injuries they had and everything else. Like, that game was winnable. I don't think they lost it only because of the officials.
Whoa, Nelly! Speaking of winners, Nikola Jokic, Tausch's guy, for the 3rd time in 4 years, has been named MVP of the NBA. Nicely done to the Joker. Tausch, you want to take a victory lap with your guy?
Well, I mean, he's been great. And I think the odd part of that was I saw the clip of Shaq interviewing him, and Shaq basically told him he thought it was BS. And I think part of it is, I think Shaq only has 2 MVPs, and I think he doesn't want Joker to have more MVPs. But to say that to his face, hey, put your name on it. I respect it, but I wonder if there's some underlying jealousy that may be coming into play from Shaq's point of view, because Nikola Jokic had a great season. His team, I know they weren't the number 1 overall seed, but he is what makes the Nuggets tick. And I think had Giannis stayed healthy and the Bucks finished a little stronger, I think this will be his last one, because there's a fatigue that happens with these voters. They want something new. This is going to be his last stand. But what Nikola Jokic has done for the last 5 or 6 years has been all worldly. And that's why he's the best player in the NBA, one of the best players in the NBA, and a three-time MVP. And I think he's deserved every one that he's got.
That's great. I did think that there was a time when Giannis probably deserved a 3rd one, and the argument was that they don't want guys winning the same guy winning it every year. So this kind of flies in the face of that suggestion. But I don't know. Shaq knows the NBA better than I do. If he thinks that this was not the right choice, that's his prerogative. I think it's a good story. I'm happy for Tausch's guy, and I hope the next time the Nuggets come to town, he's playing in the game so Tausch gets to see him play. You guys are going to take everyone home. I'm going to go to the Packers assistant coach availability. So, Tausch, I turn it over to you to talk about Johnson & Sons Paving, and I'll go talk to Rich Bisaccio.
You go do your job, and you have a chance to have me come to the job you hired Johnson & Sons Paving to do for your business. Johnson & Sons Paving has invited me out to one of their job sites this summer, and that could be with your business. Book an appointment before May 31st, and you could see me out there with the crew. The great crew at Johnson & Sons Paving has over 2 decades of experience and is ready for the challenge this winter left behind. We all know potholes. Potholes is you hurt your cars. It's damages them up. you name it. I'm going to be out there, and we're going to get that fixed. Get the impacted asphalt areas patched up or completely replaced with Johnson & Sons paving. And I'm going to get a chance, hopefully, to use that big, beautiful roller that the Johnson & Sons team has. Visit johnsonsonspaving.com today to get started. Again, Johnson & Sons Paving. Book your business before May 31st, and you might see Old T out on the job site.
Jason has left us, so it's just you and I, Tausch. There's an article that I stumbled across at espnwisconsin.com this morning that we haven't touched on yet, but with about 10 minutes remaining in the show, I'm going to ask you, what position is the biggest hole still remaining on the Green Bay Packers roster? You have the 4-minute commercial break to decide what it is, and then we'll see if your answer matches what the ESPN expert has to say. That's how we'll wrap up today's show. Coming up next on Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
You still had a cigarette lighter in there?
No, we should all be dead.
An ashtray.
They have the station wagons where the people in the back were facing the other direction.
The Homer Hour with Homer.
The Packers got more money than God, so in the NFL, there's no shortage. Yes, we need, fundamentally in the NFL, anything Detroit does, you just assume you can do it better.
Weekdays from 5 to 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
The Delafield Brewhouse, celebrating 25 years. This award-winning restaurant and brewery is on the corner of I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield. Dine in or carry out in the heart of Lake Country. Drink ale, live lager. The Delafield Brewhouse.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
Spring fishing is finally here, and Fleet Farm has everything you need to reel in more fish this year. Upgrade your gear with the best brands like Rapala, Berkeley, and St. Croix. Find exclusive flicker sheds you won't find anywhere else, starting at $12.99. Get rod and reel combos starting at only $24.99. And shop our wide selection of fishing line that starts at just $4.99. Land top fishing gear and everything else you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Well, Mike, our family is expanding.
What? You're kidding. We donated the high chair and baby toys a long time ago.
Mike, we're not having a baby. Our PCI family needs to expand.
Oh, whew, you're right. Business keeps growing, and we need more carpenters.
We're looking for experienced full-time carpenters with a variety of skills.
Consider joining our team at Professional Construction, Inc.
Learn more and apply today at professionalconstructioninc.com.
Experience the rebirth of an American treasure in Oconomowoc. The club at Lac La Belle is open. The redesigned course is one of Wisconsin's finest tracks at the heart of the Wisconsin Golf Trail. Named Best New Wisconsin Course in 2021 by Golf Digest. The club at Lac La Belle is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time today at club@laclabelle.com. See what everyone is talking about. The club at Lac La Belle is a place to experience over and over again. Go to club@laclabelle.com to start your journey.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Jesse and Tausch for the remainder of the program as Jason heads down to assistant coach media availability at Lambeau Field. We'll hear plenty more about it tomorrow. Tausch, before we get into this article that I found at ESPNWisconsin.com this morning that I want to see if you are in sync with, I did get a text back from my mama.
Oh, okay.
In regards to the koozie, I did ask because Jason apparently has used a koozie for the first time in his life today, which is just incredible. So I asked her, at what age do you think I first used a koozie? At grandma's house, Brewers game, etc. She responded, I honestly don't remember. I'm sure it's possible you used one or drank out of one of ours if it was a sip of soda or something.
Well, that's different, though. Like,
how is that different?
Using one where mom had a koozie and you just said, get me one. I'm saying you getting a Jolly Good or a soda or Pepsi, whatever, and putting a koozie around it, that's totally different.
I mean, I'm positive that I would have done that before the age of 10. Four or five.
Than 4.
4 or 5 was probably a little bit on the early end, but
that's
single digits. I'm using my first koozie.
Yeah, 8. I would say 8 or 9. I could understand it. Not at 4. That's all I was.
For Jason to be however old he is and to be using one for the first, it's just insane. We have so many koozies at our house. Just giveaways from different places. You go to job fairs and radio broadcasts and county fairs and all the places you get free stuff. And there's a koozie to be found. And
koozies, golf outings are huge
yes.
for koozies. So, yes, he doesn't do any of that. That was my point. So that's why I'm not surprised.
It's mind-boggling.
You've been doing the show long enough to understand what people's interests are, and that's not where he lives. So it's not surprising. I'm actually surprised he's used one now at 54, however old he is.
It's like it's not even affiliated with alcohol, or it's not like you have to be out at an event. You could be in your backyard. You could be mowing your lawn and just say, wow, I just want to have a drink of this quick, but I don't want the condensation to get everywhere, or I want it to stay cold, so between mows I can take a quick sip.
Yeah, but when you think koozie, you think put it around a can of beer. That's when you think koozies.
I mean,
I know it's
first and foremost, but
it's evolved. But now he'll use it. But yeah, it was so unsurprising to me. I'm surprised more that you were surprised about my lack of surprise for Jason's koozie usage.
If you missed that revelation or anything else from today's show, you can always find it in the full show podcast, available on Wisconsin On Demand, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Also subscribe to the ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison YouTube channels, where you can watch every edition of Wilde and Tausch. All right, so Aaron Schatz over at
Shatsy.
Yep, ESPNWisconsin.com identifies for every team the 32 remaining roster holes for each team. So each of the NFL teams, he says, here is the biggest roster hole remaining following the NFL draft and free agency and so on. You had the break to think about it, Tausch. What do you think he says is the biggest hole on the Packers roster right now?
I don't think there's any question it's place kicker. Like, I just don't know. Like, there's other spots that you're kind of intrigued, like left tackle, how that's going to shake out. But I think either way, you feel good that either Rasheed Walker holds on to it or the young fella rises up and takes the job. That would feel fine either way. I think running back, you feel good. Obviously, wide out quarterback. Place kicker is the only spot where I think right now, as a Packer fan, you're like, if it comes down to a 45-yard field goal in Brazil, do we feel good with what we have? And we don't even know who it's going to be that's out there kicking. You know, Joseph is there as kind of to push Anders, but nobody feels great about Anders now. He's had an off season. He kind of can shake off that rookie year. And hopefully he's like his brother, Daniel, and he becomes a great kicker. He's got the leg strength. But as far as a hole to fill right now, I think it's a no-brainer that it's the place kicker position.
Tausch says place kicker. Maybe the fact that I stumbled over it shows that is incorrect. Although I agree with you. I wasn't even.
But Shatsy doesn't.
I wasn't even thinking about place kicker when I was considering the different positions. But I think you're right. That is the least confident I feel in any spot of the Packers roster right now. There's no doubt. I agree with everything you just said. But Aaron Schatz at ESPNWisconsin.com says the biggest remaining roster hole is cornerback.
Yeah, I mean, so you didn't draft one other than Kalen King, who, by the way, I just saw an article I think Domofsky put out.
Yeah.
They think he is the steal of the draft, which, okay, whatever. But he was graded a lot higher prior to this season. And we've seen Goody with Dontavian Wicks amongst many that maybe didn't have their best year when they came out to the draft, had a better year the year prior. And you look at that talent and you hope that you can get that out of him. So, if Kalen King can come in and be any kind of a contributor this year, awesome. But if you have the highest paid or one of the highest paid corners and you have a first round pick that's coming back and everybody's raving about how good he looks, and you pay Keyshawn Nixon pretty good money to come in and to be a player, I have a hard time getting my head wrapped around you thinking, and then plus you have two guys last year that stepped in and played at a pretty high level in the law firm. So I understand you didn't draft anybody, but I don't feel like it's a position of, oh, God, I don't know what we got. Now, how they play, Jair Alexander, that's going to be intriguing to me. But no, I couldn't disagree with Shatsy more.
He says the main issue is the outside corner spot across from veteran Jair Alexander. Right now, the plan is to start Eric Stokes. However, the 2021 first-round pick has played only 12 games the past 2 seasons due to different injuries, including ankle and hamstring problems, and the Packers decided not to pick up his fifth-year option. Next man up would be Carrington Valentine, and then it gets into some analytics.
Valentine.
Yep. So that's what Shatsy identifies.
I can understand it, but I just, again, you have to go out and play. But if you have one of the best at that position and you can start figuring out ways at the other spot, if Jair Alexander is the dog that we think he is and this new system lets him eat, you got to feel good about where you're at. But I'm not going to totally dispel. I just don't think he thought about place kicker like I did.
I don't think he did either. Maybe we'll dive further into this tomorrow. Tausch, before we go, I stopped at Quick Trip the other day, and the hot spot, there were no holes to be found. Everything was exceptional and fully stocked and ready to go for a quick snack.
That's how it always is at Quick Trip, and it's baseball season. So it's time for you and me and everybody to take a quick trip to the ballpark. For every $200 you spend at Quick Trip with Quick Rewards, you can earn a free ticket to a Brewers game of your choice. And you got the Cardinals in town this weekend. Get on down there. Big savings and free Brewers tickets. Who doesn't love that? Visit the Quick Rewards app. Click on the Fan Zone button on the app's home screen to opt in, and you can start redeeming your tickets. You can redeem up to 6 Brewers tickets at a time. So who doesn't want to go to a Brewers game for free using your Quick Rewards? Get these Brewers points from Quick Reward in addition to Quick Rewards Visit. Double the points, double the happiness. Blackout dates and upgrade fees may apply. See quicktrip.com/ballpark to get down to AmFam Field this summer.
You going to get Mike McCarthy for us tomorrow, Tausch?
I will not. Hopefully, fingers crossed, will be home, back in front at my undisclosed location tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
I hope that for you as well. Thanks to you for joining us from Dallas. Thanks to Jason at Lambeau Field. Thanks to Evan Cohen. And thanks to everyone for coming along for the ride. As Jason always says, have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch? Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
All Brewers games are on sale now. Coming up, a divisional battle with the Cardinals Thursday, May 9th through Sunday the 12th. Make your Saturday night plans for Star Wars night. Then take home a Mother's Day Brewers belt bag giveaway at the game on Sunday the 12th. Presented by American Family Insurance. Don't miss out on a weekend of rivalry baseball. Grab your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Injuries happen, but you don't have to play in pain or stay on the sidelines. Whether it's your kids dealing with a sports injury, college athletes, or the rest of us weekend warriors, the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin will quickly diagnose your problem, lay out a treatment plan that works for you, and get you back in the game. They fixed my knee. My mother-in-law is back on the dance floor with a new hip. These are the experts you can trust. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Brian Windhorst is reporting the Pacers filed a complaint submitting 78 plays to the NBA that they felt went against them incorrectly during games 1 and 2 of the second-round NBA playoff series against the Knicks. Coach Rick Carlisle said the teams identified 29 questionable calls from Game 1. A source said the Pacers identified 49 such plays in Game 2. Indiana's down 2-0. Celtics lead assistant Charles Lee agreed to a 4-year deal to become Charlotte's new coach, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He will complete Boston's playoff run before moving over to join the Hornets full-time. Celtics tonight host the Cavaliers Game 2, 7 Eastern ESPN, followed by Mavericks Thunder Game 2. Owners of the NHL's team in Utah have given fans 20 choices to vote on for the franchise's new name, including Freeze, Yeti, and Outlaws. New name, logo, and colors debut for the 2025-2026 season.
From the ESPN studios at Pier 17 in the Seaport District of New York City, this is Greeny with Mike Greenberg on ESPN Radio. You can also listen and watch the show on the ESPN app.
Back and better than ever, Greeny, presented by Progressive Insurance. Oh, what a morning. We got a lot going on this Thursday. The Windman somehow still, while working on fumes, is up with us. He's going to join us here off the top. The basketball is crazy. Let's go.
Here we go!
Only one place to start.
The Knicks take a 2-0 lead, pulling out a 130-121 victory over the Indiana Pacers.
We know we're going to have to be a lot better when we go to Indianapolis. And so tomorrow we lock in and get ready for Game 3.
It's been an unbelievable run that the New York Knicks are on right now. They're doing things that, frankly, you just shouldn't be able to do. They're overcoming injuries you shouldn't be able to overcome, and they are winning at a rate in clutch time games that are supposed to be 50-50 propositions that is practically unheard of. As Wendy sticks around, as we promised, after Get Up this morning, and the hashtag crew is here and everybody else. The most amazing stat to me, Windman, the Knicks have played 8 games in this postseason. 7 of them have gone to clutch time. Only one of them did not reach clutch time minutes, which means late and close. The Knicks are 6-1 in those 7 games, and the one game they lost was the Tyrese Maxey game, the one where he just went nuts and had the 4-point play and everything else. So how are they doing it? You're covering this series. You're there for every second. How are they managing to do it?
I want to say smoke and mirrors, but that's not fair because Brunson has been so good. And their effort level. So in the fourth quarter last night's game, the rebounding was 26-13. 26 for the Knicks, 13 for the Pacers. That is just effort. There were so many times in the fourth quarter where I thought the Pacers were going to get the ball, and the ball landed like near their hands, and somehow the Knicks got it. And so that's not smoke and mirrors. That's just effort. The other thing is the guys that they have out there are playing so hard. Like these Josh Hart minutes, he has not sat in 10 quarters. He plays so hard. His effort level and the speed at which he's playing with is crazy. I have to acknowledge that that is making the difference. Hartenstein, Josh Hart, Brunson, these guys are all going the extra mile. They are doing exactly what a coach wants you to do, which is to make the difference in those 50-50 moments. So what we're talking about is them winning 50-50 games over and over. They are a product of that style of play.
Hembo, I mean, as a person who lives your life dissecting numbers, what should team, like what would be considered excellent in clutch time? Like when we look at clutch time teams, forgetting the individual numbers, and we know that Brunson is having a run for the ages in that, but like what percentage, a really good team wins what percentage of their clutch time games?
60, 65%?
That's what I thought. See, it's like that. If you're exceptional, you win 2 out of every 3. They've won 6 out of 7, and it required like the kind of performance we'll talk about for decades to beat them in one of those games.
Jalen Brunson has scored 43 points in 32 clutch minutes in the postseason. I mean, if you're averaging a point a minute in like a game, like, you know, no leverage involved, you've had yourself one heck of a game. He's averaging way more than a point per minute in the most important moments of games against theoretically the best teams in the NBA.
Greeny and the crew coming to you live as always from the Seaport, brought to you by Chase. My next question for you is about the star level of Brunson. We both made note of the fact that he finished in the top 5 in MVP voting. Hembo, I think we voted him 4th, didn't we?
We did.
I think we put him 4th. Ahead of Giannis. I think our ballot, had Hembo help me with my ballot, and we did it here on the air, so the listeners were part of it as well. And we had the top 3 the same way that it finished. It finished Jokic, SGA, and then Luka. Then I think we voted Brunson 4 and Giannis 5. It went, they flipped 4-5. That's the way that it finished yesterday. So that tells you something about his people, how much people respect and regard his game, especially the way he carried this team after Julius Randle went down. But having a Willis Reed moment last night on the anniversary of the Reed game of all things, having a series, a postseason run that is well beyond just being good, right? We're talking about Michael Jordan territory stuff here. Like, is he now becoming one of the true faces of the league, which I would argue at the end of the regular season, I would not have said he was that. Anthony Edwards, people like that we thought were the next ones. He's 27 years old. Is he that now?
Yeah, this season he's transitioned from an underrated player to a superstar.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And, you know, I'm hearing from my friends who are Knicks fans, and they're just talking about this last 3 weeks. You know, that game 2 against Philly with that crazy comeback where DiVincenzo hits the shot. The obviously game that they lost with Maxey. The game in Philly where Brunson has, I don't know how many do you have that night, 47?
Yeah.
Where it basically got the leverage in that series back.
Yeah, game 4.
21 or 23, whatever it was in the fourth quarter of game 1 in this series. Then last night, Willis Reed Light, or whatever you want to call it, this is just an amazing stretch here where he's not only delivering, but delivering under all this drama. I mean, it's historic. I mean, I'm watching, you go to these Knicks games and they call back the former great Knicks and they show these moments that they had. You know, Allen Houston hitting the big shot against Miami, Sprewell when that one run to the finals, Walt Frazier, winning the 73 title. Jalen Brunson is going to get introduced in 30 years at the Garden, and they're going to show stuff from this week.
Yes.
That's what's happening right now. And I mean, so in one hand, we're looking like, how are they going to get a game in Indiana? On the other hand, what we're seeing is truly historic in franchise history.
That's right. Now and the point I keep wanting to make is a lot of fans, having worked in Chicago as long as I did and done national broadcasting for as long as I have, I know that fans around the country sometimes get fatigued of the New York stuff. Greatest in Knick history. What he's doing right now is not just all-time great Knick history. He's doing stuff that is all-time great basketball history. He's putting up numbers that are Michael Jordan, Oscar Robertson, like that kind of stuff. The greatest. He's playing as well as anyone has ever played in a postseason stretch. Period. New paragraph. I think they're in real trouble. If OG Anunoby is as hurt as I think he is, I don't know what Brunson's foot is going to feel like when it gets up this morning. He seems to be somehow indestructible. Let's live in a world. The next game is tomorrow night. Then they play Sunday afternoon. Then they play Tuesday night. So there is no rest for the weary in this series at all. The Knicks are already running on fumes. If they lose Anunoby, which it feels to me pretty likely that they are about to, how do they win? How do they continue beating this team that is right there with them?
Well, they're getting a little bit of a break here, despite all their misfortune that Giannis and Lillard were injured in the last round. Because at full power, and I do not want to disrespect the Pacers because the Pacers beat the Bucks all season long, but at full power, if they were playing a team that was more star-laden than the Pacers, they would really be in trouble. Because the Pacers are a flawed team, they are an ascendant team. They do a lot of things well. They score really well. They've had a great step-forward season, but they are not playing it. If you look out in the Western Conference, for example, any of those teams that they're out there, if they were opposite one of those teams here, they would be in real trouble. Because the Pacers struggle, especially defensively, the door is still there for the Knicks because they basically need, they need to not lose 4 out of 5. That's what they need to do. The Indiana's in a position as a poor defensive team where it has to win 4 out of 5. That's a big ask. I don't know how the Knicks are going to be standing at the end, but they're benefiting from squeezing out these tight games and the quality of the opponent.
I want you guys both to gander a guess. I'm looking at the line right now for Game 3 at ESPN Bet. Just take a guess.
I'm going to guess the Pacers are favored.
I'm staying away from that because I don't know about Brunson, and I don't think.
Well, that's the point. Is those things hover above all of this? But I'm guessing that the people who make these lines saw the same thing we saw, which is OG Anunoby. The term all the basketball players on our show this morning kept using was blowing a tire. I don't know everything, but I know guys don't play with that tomorrow. That's not what's going to happen here. And he does have a history of taking plenty of time to come back from injury. Now, I didn't mean that disparagingly, and
no, that's a true statement.
Those are regular season things generally, and this is a postseason situation. So I'm sure he will come back as soon as he's able, but he doesn't look like a guy who's going to be able. And Brunson's got a foot, and they're going to Indiana, and the Pacers have been right there. I'm going to guess the Pacers are favored.
The Pacers are favored by 7.5 points.
Yeah.
That's a staggeringly large number. Like, for context, the Knicks last night were
4.5 points,
yeah,
I think.
something like that, between 4 and 5, depending on where you were looking.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
I wasn't expecting to see that.
That's what I mean.
I was expecting 2.5, 3.5.
Me too.
7.5 is a huge number.
That's
against
a blowout.
the team.
That's a blowout line in the NBA regular season.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you're ESPN Bet or whoever it is that all the different people who make these odds, here's how you're thinking it. You're thinking the Knicks held serve. They need to steal one on the road. The Pacers are desperate. They're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink into this game. The Knicks might be willing to say, let's let these guys rest a little. I'm not going to play Brunson 48 minutes. I'm not going to play Hart 48 minutes.
I think Tibbs is going to do what he does.
Who are they going to play?
Well, they theoretically have other players on their roster.
No,
they may have to call guys up from the G League.
If you want to make the point that it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if the Knicks
just sort of gave a game away.
Get on the wrong side.
Right there, if we're not leading in the third quarter, we just call off the dogs and let our guys get a little bit of rest and get a little healthy.
Here's the thing. The Pacers' strength is depth. They have a very good deep team. And by the way, they're missing Ben Mathurin, who would have gotten votes for one of the 6 men of the year. So they are not whole either, not comparable to the Knicks. But in Game 1, the Pacers bench outscores the Knicks bench 46-3. Last night, 46-12. So you're looking at that going, as the series goes along, how long is the streak going to get for Josh Hart of consecutive quarters without sitting on the bench? It's at 10 right now. So if you're looking at the dashboard, you're up 2-0, and that might carry them. That, squeezing these two 50-50 games out at the end, the Knicks may win because the Pacers didn't get a split.
Right.
And they can blame the referees and they can blame whatever, but the Pacers needed to win one of these two games. But if you're looking at this and you're looking at the depth comparison, you're looking at the minutes, and you're looking at the trends, obviously you're a little bit worried if you're the Knicks.
So Josh Hart is the first player to play every minute in 4 of his first 8 games in a single postseason since Moses Malone in 1981. He's played all 96 minutes in this series, becoming the first player to play every minute through the first 2 games of a single series since Wilt Chamberlain in 1973.
Yeah, Chamberlain used to famously never came out of games, literally never came out of games. There was one season he averaged more than 48 minutes per game because of overtime. But let me ask you a quick question. How many minutes has OG Anunoby been playing in all these games? Because at some point the conversation goes to that. And I heard you were on with Unsportsmanlike this morning. Did they bring it up with you? I heard them talking about it.
So I actually asked our people to look it up. So in the 4 games leading up to last night, Anunoby had averaged 46 minutes. I said, hey, has he ever played 46 minutes in a 4-game stretch? And the answer was no. And so, look, I'm going to really try not to get out over my skis and try to say I'm some sort of sports scientist.
Right.
But we have seen in athletic history guys who play a lot of minutes get an overuse injury. We've seen that many times. The classic case I can give, although he's much younger, was Kobe when he tore his Achilles. He didn't tear his Achilles that night. He tore his Achilles because he was playing 45, 46, 48 minutes for weeks leading up to that. When you see that where a guy just is just going full power and his muscle fails him, it makes you look at those last 4 games if you're building up to that.
Sure, it's hard to believe it's not a fatigue-created injury, and I don't say that critically. Their coach has nowhere else to go. If you're Tom Thibodeau, your job. I know that Tibbs has a reputation. He plays guys all the time. Look, I'm old enough. I'll tell you the stories as we go on today. I remember covering the Bulls-Knicks series, the legendary series of the 90s. On the off days, as you're doing now, Wendy, I would go to the practices. The Bulls would, watch some tape. They would, have a walkthrough. Riley was working these guys into the ground. They were having 90-minute practices on the off days, practicing hard. And people would sometimes say, well, did Patrick Ewing wear down? All that kind of stuff. We'll never know. Riley was an all-time great coach. I think Tibbs is a great coach. But there's no question. He plays his guys. And is that a reason why they are breaking down
and
this
way? It's also maybe a reason why they're winning these close games.
Of course it is. But at some point, that